everyone, and welcome to the P1 Broadcasting Channel. You've got Murph, and because Caleb Brashear is at Mid-Ohio, you've got Matty Wagner standing in for Caleb, and you know what time that means that is. It's 8:20 on a Thursday, and we've got the AMA Outland Custom Arms Grand National Series live from another road course in California. It's Sonoma, and it's the NASCAR version of Sonoma. Talk to me a little bit about this track, my friend.
Oh man, this is the NASCAR short layout. I sure do miss the old layout, the carousel version, but this track is going to be fast. It's going to be sometimes really hard to pass, and probably some sections of the turns we'll talk about later in the broadcast. But we'll have to wait and see, and kind of get interested how this qualifying effort is going to come to.
It is. Now, this is known as the Club Circuit. It is 1.99 miles. It says there are 11 turns, and you will hear us use turns 1 through 11. However, there are not 11 corners, and we'll cover that in just a moment. The track record on this layout is a minute 13.629 set by Kyle Larson in the 2024 Cup event. The O'Reilly Auto Parts Grand National Series track record here for that 1 minute 16.384. We are nowhere close to that. Matter of fact, Greg Evans, top of the board right now, is a couple of seconds off the outright the track record for the O'Reilly Auto Parts Grand National Series. There are numerous layouts here. As a matter of fact, if you go to Wikipedia, just a quick survey, you will find 5 different ways that they can chop this track up. And for this circuit, it's basically the classic Grand Prix layout with one exception. Instead of making the 90-degree right at turn 4 to go down toward turns 5 and 6, which is the carousel section, they bypass that. They go about 50 yards further down. They'll make a right-hand turn at the top of the hill, and there's a short straightaway that connects turns 4A and 7A, and then they rejoin the Grand Prix course at turn 7A. As Matt kind of talked about, and I'll elaborate on that here in a minute, Matty, that does eliminate one of the passing zones, and it makes the S's and the run down to turn 11 that much more critical, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, you are absolutely right. We've seen some very, very famous passes here, and probably the most famous pass here is probably, correct me if I'm wrong, I think it's 1995 where Mark Martin slipped in oil over and turned 5 in the 6 in the carousel, and gone on to win that race because of that pass up in the carousel. So that eliminates one passing zone that I truly love. I love the carousel. NASCAR, you guys need to bring this back.
You do. Now we're going to ride on board with Sean Roberts. I'll put the fast lap times up. Here's Roberts. He's going down toward turn number 1. Across the start-finish line, 130 miles an hour, 135. Gets on the brakes, up the hill, and he's going to slow down to second gear, just about 60 as he makes the hard right-hander at the top of the hill. That is turn number 2. That is off camber. Turns 2 and 3 are off camber, and they are very difficult, and Roberts will pull it over. And so we have no further cars on the course, and that's because we're getting ready to do the drivers meeting. But that's kind of a preview, and we'll preview it more as we go through qualifying. There are 20 cars signed in, so it is a little bit bigger of a field than we had last week at San Diego. The points shape up like this. Greg Evans holds a whopping 172 point advantage over Kendall Paul. Ryan O'Donoghue is 3rd. Sam Crow 4th, John Houchins 5th. Crash Neon, David Dunwoody, Troy Carricker, James Hodgson, and Franco Alvarez make up the balance of the top 10. Say Hey Lewis Hayes and Trevor Ryan still in the chase positions. Chasing that chase, 19 points out, is Christopher Logan. Justin Osterman is 21 points back. Ted Craven is 29 points back. Brian Sharp 33. So there is going to be a bit of a fight. Joshua Zorn is back there. lurking as well, Matt. There's going to be a fight for positions 10 through 12 because Franco Alvarez does not run the full schedule and will not be eligible for the chase. So there is an open spot there, and you're going to see some drivers really competing. And this race is key to their chances, Matt, just because of the short field, isn't it?
Yeah, it takes a lot of those guys, who are deep in the field. Those guys get a chance to make up some points. Yeah, it's no surprise that I've seen Greg Evans run, and he is just phenomenal. Road course, oval, but I think he might have a little bit of stiff competition here today.
Yeah, he does. We're looking at the leaderboard. Greg Evans is the fastest in practice. Sean Roberts, just a couple of tenths off, and that is a rarity when it comes to AMA road courses. Usually, you see a guy, maybe two, who are pretty quick and head and shoulders above the field. Not so. Sonoma is a place that should be very familiar to most all of these drivers. It's been in pretty much every racing video game since Gran Turismo 2. iRacing, of course. iRacing, of course, is it's a simulation, but it is at the end of the day, it is a video game. But guys have been racing here. The same basic layout has been available digitally now for 30 years. And so because of that, this is a track that most are pretty familiar with. And that's going to lead to a little bit closer of a field. Sean Roberts, Justin Osterman, both in the minute and 18-second bracket. So too is Mark Paget. Chris Stouffer drug himself out of a DW12 at Pocono. He is fifth quick, just a hair over a minute 19. Kendall Paul, Ryan O'Donohue, Troy Carricker, Joshua Siegfried, and Lee Campbell, all within roughly a second and a half of the leader. And that means that we're going to see a little bit closer a competition here than we did last week at San Diego, where the cars were spread apart, in some cases a second or two a lap by position through the bottom part of the top 10. And then the next part that you get to is cars like Brian Sharp, Ted Craven, that are 6, 7, 8, 10 seconds adrift of the leader. We're going to deal with lap traffic here tonight, Matt, and we've also got a pit strategy situation to deal with. Tell us about that.
Yeah, well, drivers would probably have the opportunity, as you see in NASCAR, those guys have a chance to pit early before they close pit road, and they do the same here in the AMA. 2 laps as soon as that leader crosses the line, they will close pit road with 2 to go. Drivers will have the opportunity to come down pit road if they want to, but maybe I don't think stage 1 they'll do that. I think we'll see some drivers probably do that in stage 2. It's more of a strategic size. Track position here, I think, Murph, is probably going to be key for those top guys.
It is, and you have to balance the track position versus the tire wear. We've heard you don't really need to worry about fuel so much in these stages. 20 in the first, 20 for the first stage. We'll have another break at 45, and then 79 the total distance. You're not going to have to worry about fuel. You are going to have to worry about tires. But if you're in that front 10 and you're at the sharp end of this championship fight, you need to worry about stage points, and so that's going to be a bit of a worry too. We are about 15 seconds from the run to the Simshop Pole Award. Do want to thank everybody for tuning in, joining in the iRacing fun. If you haven't already done it, make sure you hit the like button on the video, ring the bell, subscribe to the channel so that you too can enjoy all of the upcoming action on P1. We've got some special events coming your way. We've got the regular official lineup. We've got the AMA on Thursdays. I understand we're going to be simulcasting the P1 Broadcasting Elite Racing League Series on Thursday nights as well. So a lot of good things happening on P1 as we get ready to go run for that Simshop Pole Award. www.simshop.com. Just keep driving, and we'll see who is going to be on the Simshop Pole here very, very shortly. Maddie, we are just now starting the session.
Well, I tuned in some of the races, but I'm looking at some stats here for the 3 road courses they have ran. Ryan O'Donohue has an average starting position on road courses 1.3. That's impressive.
It most certainly is. We're gonna ride. We're gonna ride with Troy Carricker here as he goes through his qualification run. Welcome Caleb Brashear to the chat. He's joined us from no doubt what is a refreshment-soaked Mid Ohio sports car course. Carricker navigating through the chute. We'll jump back on board here in just a second. He's taking this very slow, Matt, trying to preserve those tires. Through the S's goes Carricker. He is looking at turn 8, now 9. And turn 9A and 10, very difficult. That's where he goes around now. He's about to hit the hairpin, Matt, and I'll walk him through a lap here at Sonoma on board Troy Carricker. This is bound to be a good one. Troy Carricker among the top 5 in practice around the hairpin. On board we go toward the start-finish line and start climbing the hill, Matty.
Oh, yes. Going down past the start-finish line, and you come up the hill, come up to turn 1. You make really, really hard on the binder, so you're going to ease back on that throttle. You really don't want to overcook the throttle as you keep going down straight. You got a hard left here. Ease the brake. Don't overdrive it. You ease the throttle. You don't want to get the off track there, and you come down the hill up until we cut off as you the carousel. We come to this short chute here. Come straight all the way down up into turn 7. I hope I got that right. I'm a little bit of a noob.
You did get that right. So you
yeah,
come. That's the high.
Red.
That's the high point of the racetrack up there, turn 7. You start coming down the hill through the S's, turns 8, 8A, through the right-hander at 8A. Now you're going to go through the left at 9, 9A, and here's turn 10. You got to really brake for turn 10. That's a bad angle, and that's why the Indy cars don't run that part of the course like that. Right here is the best opportunity. The hairpin, turn 11. You're going to go down to about 30 miles an hour. That is where Davey Allison and Ricky Rudd came to grief in 1992 in their famous accident. Troy Carricker is going to come across the line, and he will put up a lap 119.989, and we'll continue to follow him.
That was very smooth.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was very smooth. Correction from Caleb Brashear. He is not at the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. He is instead burning couches at the he's instead burning couches at Watkins Glen.
Did you make a wrong turn there, Caleb?
It sounds like he did. He probably set the nav system on the Cadillac wrong, and went an incorrect direction somewhere in Pennsylvania. Wound up in the wrong place. Anyway, Carricker is on his second lap now. The other thing that you'll notice as you get outside the car, you didn't really see it in the first lap from inside, but he is attacking these curves, Matt.
Yeah, you really don't want to get too happy because it'll upset the car and shoot you come back on that throttle. And here's we come down into the last corner about 35 miles an hour. And I think this is going to be his checkered flag here. I really maybe see a little bit of improvement here. Across the start-finish line now.
Minute 20.286. Troy Carricker does go slower. Right now, the pole position provisionally is owned by Mark Paget with a minute 17.840. And that's faster than any lap we saw in practice. Have a look at the Sim Magic Deuce for Greg Evans. Say hello to Sam Crow in the chat. Sim Magic, hello, Sim Sam. Labs. On the Deuce, yeah, he's cheering his DVD teammates from afar today. Sam, a fixture in the AMA cars, both series, taking the night off tonight, but watching us from home and watching teammate Greg Evans as he tries to improve his first lap. Just about to be in the books, and Greg Evans will come back through. It is the second lap that is traditionally quicker. Evans lap 1 minute 27.212, and my guess is he spent part of that lap saving his tires, Matt.
Yeah, as you see in some of these drivers will probably go really slow on that outlap, trying to conserve a little bit of tire, trying to as you would say, do a hot lap here. Uh, I typically do that. I know you do that too in the IndyCar.
Yeah, we most certainly do. It's tire temperature in any race car is extremely sensitive, and you want them just in the right envelope in order to perform. And the sim is no different. And so Greg Evans, with all of his experience, able to put the tires in the correct window to maximize grip for a full lap. And Matt, you talked about Troy Carricker looking smooth. Not a
Yep.
wheel gone wrong for Greg Evans as he starts down the hill toward turn 10.
Oh, he's probably the most guy I probably watch, and I wish I was as good as him on road courses or any kind of oval. And he is just really putting on a show this whole entire season. As he comes around to the last turn and comes ready to take the start finish line, his lap time is
118 flat, 118.031 for Greg Evans. That is going to put him in the
P2.
second spot for the deuce. So
Oh, he knocked Stouffer off.
number 2 goes P2. Chris Stouffer, the old man from the IndyCar side in the 40 Raceway machine. He is third. Matt Sisler, there he is for 3 birdies. He is in the 4th spot. These guys, Sisler's on his second lap, so he is still alive. The other guys maybe circulating out there just for practice lap's sake. Say Lewis Hayes is going out on the course. Matt Mettler, Donald Green, Ted Craven, and Christopher Logan are not going to take time. They're just going to start from the back. But just like Greg Evans, Matt Sisler, very, very, very smooth, Matt.
Yeah, you definitely want to be smooth here because it's very, very easy to overcook the tires. Uh, probably lock up the tires. I probably do that here at turn 11 all the time, getting down slow and then all the way down to 30 miles an hour. And we got a little bit sideways off that last corner there. It come to the start finish line now, and his time would be
119.181, Matt Sisler. He goes slower on his second lap. Only the second car
interesting.
that we've seen take time. Yeah, he's only the second car we've seen take time. Go slower on that second lap. And we'll put up Say Hey Lewis Hayes in the Robert Turnbull special and observe his laps. He is the only car that is going to take time that is currently on the course. And there's Say Hey Lewis Hayes. Let's get a little bit tighter in on that number 43. It's Richard Petty's number, but it's Dale Earnhardt's paint scheme. Yeah.
Yeah, I was getting ready to say that. Like, what?
It is. And of course, Robert Turnbull watches every single one of these, and there's Say Hey Lewis Hayes, and he's going to take one
Oh,
more.
he's off. Yeah, he's out exploring.
Yeah, he's
Pay no attention.
he's decided that maybe he'd like to get some dirt on those tires. The problem with that now, Matt, is he's not going to get back around to finish the lap. And so Say Hey Lewis Hayes will line up according to iRating, and by my calculations, it'll put him 17th on the grid. There won't be time for him to come back around. So we'll continue to watch Lewis, but he will not be able to complete a lap. Do want to thank everybody for tuning in, joining in the fun. If you haven't already done it, make sure you hit the like button on the video, ring the bell, subscribe to the channel so you too can get in on all of the iRacing action here on P1. And yes, that means you too, Caleb. Hit the like button. Don't skimp out just because you're not in the booth.
Yes, Sam, you too.
That's right.
Dunwoody, yeah, hit the like button. Come on.
David.
What's wrong with you?
David Dunwoody said he'll be on the drag strip. That is one of the more unique things about Sonoma is, there are NASCAR facilities that have drag strips adjacent to them. The drag strip here is part of the course. The front straightaway runs parallel to the drag strip, and in some years there was not a wall between the drag strip and the front straight, and drivers would go all the way out there.
That sounds scary.
Yeah, drivers would go all the way out there as the session is finished, and so yeah, that's been a thing as we get ready to go for the starting lineup here at Sonoma. On the pole with a lap of 1 minute 17.840 seconds, it is Mark Paget, State Water Heaters number 22. To his outside, the Sim Magic Deuce for Greg Evans, the outside of the front row. Mark Paget, of course, will pick up the I can't talk, Matt. That's bad news for a driver that makes his living with his mouth.
Oh.
Simshop Pole Award won by Mark Paget. Evans to the outside. Row 2, Christopher, Matt Sisler. Sean Roberts line up 5th next to Kendall Paul. How about Ryan O'Donoghue? This might be his worst qualifying effort ever on a road course. He's going to start 7th. Joshua Siegfried will go from 8th, and rounding out the top 10, Troy Carricker and Joshua Zorn, 11th. Mr. Excitement, Justin Osterman. Lee Campbell, 12th. John Houchins and David Dunwoody will start from row 7. Brian Sharp is the last car to take time. He will go from 15th. 16th, Say Hey Lewis Hayes. Then Matt Metler, Ted Craven, Christopher Logan, and Donald Green round out your 20-car field tonight at Sonoma. I don't know. It would be difficult for Dunwoody to get on the drag strip. We'll see if he's able to accomplish that. Although I once threatened to put one of his endurance cars in the in one of the water hazards in the golf ponds at Indianapolis, in the golf course at Indianapolis. So
don't do it, David.
Yeah,
don't do it.
Don't do it. But there we go. They roll away toward the top of the hill. The drone cam provided by Whiplash Sim Cams. Do want to thank them for all of their support. P1 Broadcasting. If you're a race photographer, broadcaster, check them out. WhiplashSimCams.com. You too can have these amazing pictures for yourself.
But I would like to see the race winner do a burnout on the drag strip.
You know, you can get over there. There is a hole in the wall, but it is not as it used to be, where it wasn't the thing. I will say this: you remember when they had the old IndyCar Fixed series, right, where they did 10 ovals and 2 road courses? Remember that?
Yeah.
They came here, and I got lost. They came to this version of Sonoma. I got lost. Well, I automatically I was so used to the Grand Prix layout, I actually turned right instead of going down to the chute, and got disqualified because I ran through the carousel.
The things we do.
But the drag strip is accessible, so I think you're on to something, Matt. If the winner tonight should pull over on the drag strip and do a burnout.
Do a little, do a little burnout, do a little circles and everything. Yeah.
You can do a burnout in the burnout box for the drag cars as we head down the hill. The nice thing about this track too is, Matt, the pace laps are not nearly as long as they were at Coronado. Last week we were faced with 5-minute long pace laps. They are not going to be like that here. The car's just about now through turns 9 and 10, headed back toward the hairpin, and we're going to have green flag action here very shortly. One more time, if you haven't done it, make sure you hit the like button on the video, ring the bell, subscribe to the channel. Get in on all of the fun. We are just about ready to go green here from Sonoma. Pace car is off. Mark Paget going to lead Greg Evans, Christopher, and Matt Sisler to the green flag. Barney's got it up in the air. Here they come, Matt. Hold it, patient. Green flag is out, and we are underway. Everybody clean through the top of the hill. Now we're upside down, so we'll get out of that. Greg Evans has made it to the lead. 2 cars did not start. That would be, I believe, Donald Green did not take the flag, and one other. Got to battle Matt Sisler racing hard with Christopher there, or racing hard with
that would be Matt Metler.
Matt Metler, yeah. Everybody clean and green, though. Through turn 7 and down the S as we come. It's Mark Paget leading Greg Evans, Christopher, Matt Sisler, and Sean Roberts here, Matt.
Yeah, I really think Mark Paget can run him a nice little clean pace. But look out below. I think Greg Evans would probably, as you would say, take care of his tires more. I like the way he's been doing it all season long, saving his tires and making a run at it toward the end of the stage.
He is.
Uh,
Greg Evans is pulled now right back up on the back of Mark Paget. Christopher has settled into a fairly distant third, and he's got about a second over Matt Sisler in fourth. Best battle on the track is probably for the lead right now, Matt. So we'll leave it right here.
yeah, he's not going to make a move right here. I really think if he's going to try to set Mark Paget up, it's probably come down probably to turn 7. And that is probably his best opportunity to pass. But he is hounding that 22 car going up the hill.
He most certainly is, and that's something you can do here at Sonoma as Greg Evans dives to the inside at turn 7. He's going to make that move and move the deuce to P1, and Mark Paget immediately will come under fire from Chris Stouffer in the third spot. And Stouffer's no stranger to racing here at Sonoma. He probably has more experience on the IndyCar layout than he does on the stock car one, but keep an eye out for Chris Stouffer. He is not going to go away and be an IndyCar driver. He's going to have plenty of experience, and he's going to face a challenge from Matt Sisler down the inside at turn 11.
Looks like he's gonna make that pass, but he slides right behind Matt Sisler, just trying to hold that spot here. And look out below. I think that's Roberts right on his backside too.
Yeah, that is Sean Roberts. Greg Evans goes purple lap. It's there may not be as many passing zones as we might like here at Sonoma, but one of the things you can do is you can absolutely pressure somebody into a mistake, particularly in the first sector of the course, turns 1, 2, and 3. Very easy to get somebody to overdrive their car, get wide, get out in the toolies out there, and really cost themselves some time. And of course, it's not just that you got to worry about. If you want to name, Matt, here you go. Dick Johnson, the Australian 1990, the red coat steel tubing Ford Thunderbird, got himself upside down in the tire barriers at turn 3.
Really? I remember. I will have to remember this. I know there was another car that hit the tire barriers and flipped upside down, but I'm going to have to do a little bit of research on that.
There have been several. The Dick Johnson one is the one that sticks out in my mind, just because I was like 8 or 9 years old when it happened. I remember watching it. I know Mark Martin lost a tire down there at turn 1 year and wound up backed pretty severely into the fence, but I can't remember the year. He might have. I believe he also got upside down, but there have been several cars that have done that and parked themselves either on top of or upside down against the tire barriers here at Sonoma. It's very easy to do at turns 1 and 3 because you carry so much speed into those corners, and then you've got a brake, they're off camber, and there's not a lot of runoff between yourself and the wall.
Speaking of tire barriers, you probably remember this one. Dale Jr., when he drove a Corvette here, actually caught on fire when he hit the tire barriers.
Yeah.
You remember that one?
I do. The one where he got out of the car and looked for the marshal that drug him clear, and there was no marshal. That was interesting. Of course, that happened because they had just filled that car up with gas, and there was still some in the filler in the neck, and it just had that happened 2 or 3 corners later, there's no fire, but because there was still a little bit of fuel left in the neck, it snapped the neck and caught on fire, and yeah, that was the reason he was no longer allowed to go sports car racing. We're still watching the battle for third. Chris Stouffer holding off Sean Roberts. This is the best battle on the course. 5 laps of a scheduled 79 here at Sonoma. Remember, we do have stage breaks at 20 and 45 of the scheduled 79, and so we're going to re-rack them here at least twice. Cautions are on, Matt, but the likelihood of a track blocker here is pretty low.
Yeah, you won't see really many cautions. The AMA guys probably will throw a yellow if there is a like you said, a big track blocker. But that would probably, happen after our stage breaks here. But Christopher, I'm very impressed. He's holding his own. And you talk about pressure. For me, don't worry, I'll overdrive the car. I'll pressure myself.
At least we're not dealing with Christopher behind you at Pocono.
That's true.
Oh
God!
You want pressure. And speaking of Pocono and pressure and Christopher and an IndyCar, tune it in next Tuesday night. We're gonna have a special presentation on P1. It's the Jim Brooks Memorial with the Area 51 series, and that's gonna be DW12s. We've been remembering Jim for several months now. Of course, passed away after a battle with cancer, and we've been remembering him on P1 for quite some time. But Area 51 is going to do a couple of memorial races in Jim's honor. One of those is going to be on Tuesday. It'll be Andrew Wood, myself, DW12s at Pocono, and that's kind of like for Christopher, me and an IR18 at Texas.
That's probably one race that I probably want to win. I've been an admin in that series for a very, very long time, and for what it is today, I helped turn that league around. Right now, it's in the hands of Craig. As you know, I own my own league now, but Craig is doing a phenomenal job. Gaio and them, guys, tune in Tuesday night, please.
Yeah, it's going to be a great show, and DW12s at Pocono are a fun time anyway.
Oh yeah, blast.
They are an absolute blast. It's kind of fun. Those cars are not able to run the new pavement, so they've got to run the old bumpy Pocono. The leaders have accordion back together, by the way. Greg Evans has gotten away a little bit, but Mark Padgett has fallen into the clutches of Matt Sisler, Christopher, and Sean Roberts. The top positions 2 through 5 are right together here as we work lap 7 of 79. We got Mike Rigney in the crowd. Rigney, of course, the chairman of the ISRA series. He's too busy gardening apparently to join us in the booth. I wonder what he's got planted over there. You got some tomatoes. Make it, get some bacon and have a little BLT. Get the lettuce and tomatoes from Mike over there, or is it roses he's gardening? I don't know. I've never seen evidence of this garden. I've only heard about him working on it.
Yeah, Sam, I'm really surprised that Logan Edwards did not race this race. That is one name that I thought I would see come into this session here tonight. I'm surprised. I've been noticing the past couple of laps, I've been watching Matt Sisler. Every time he comes down to turn 11, he's been locking up that right front, but as you say, he didn't do it that time. But I think our buddy Christopher is really under fire right now.
Yeah, he is, and Stouffer is never one. We talked about it at the top of the show. Stouffer is never one to be shy of. Dunwoody said he killed all of the mosquitoes. He's actually got a meatball, and we're going to go back and find out what's happened to David Dunwoody. But we're going to go back.
By the way, Race Control has closed pit road.
Race Control has closed pit road. David Dunwoody, this was ongoing for a while. Okay, so here he is. Here he is.
Do that to the man.
Well, here he goes. He's at the top of the hill, and he does exactly what we talked about. He goes through turn 3, drops the left sides off, and he is just going to go hard into the tires, and that is going to be David Dunwoody. You see the smoke pouring from under the hood of that Chevrolet, and so that'll be the end of David Dunwoody's day. But Mark Padgett is not going away, and neither is Sean Roberts. He looked to the inside of Christopher in the hairpin, didn't quite get that done, and that's invited Ryan O'Donohue to the party.
I'm really surprised at Ryan Donahue's speed. He's usually you would see him very good on these road courses, but here at Sonoma, I think he's doing a little bit better, as we see in most past races. Almost looks to the inside of of that 33 car could not make the pass. Perhaps we going up the hill, maybe take a pass here at 7, maybe hard on the brakes.
Maybe O'Donoghue, Roberts, and Stouffer are the battle right now. Roberts, big slide through turn number 4, and that's going to let Ryan O'Donoghue close right up on his rear bumper in turn 7. Roberts, though, holds the spot. We're going to have a look off of his off of his back bumper, headed down toward turn 11. See if Ryan O'Donoghue can't make that move. Looking backwards from Sean Roberts. Here comes O'Donoghue. Great turn 10 from O'Donoghue. He closes the gap, but Matt, I think he's too far away.
No, he is absolutely way too far away. But you know what? That bat. Oh, we got a spinner!
Roberts goes around. That's going to let Ryan O'Donoghue through. And at the same time, Matt Sizzler in the 3 birdies machine got past Mark Paget for second. And don't sleep on Matt Sizzler. He had been running laps fairly similarly to, if not a hair quicker, than Greg Evans. He's spotted him a 2-second lead, but the last time through, Matt Sizzler 0.2 quicker than Greg Evans. And so keep an eye on Matt Sizzler. We'll jump on board Sizzler. Let the fans at home see what he sees from behind the wheel of that 3 birdies Toyota.
Yeah, that battle for second, third, and fourth was really close. But I think Greg Evans is just enjoying that clear view. I love seeing that.
He's enjoying the clear view. He knows he's got an advantage, and we've seen Greg Evans do this before, where he gets out to a little bit of a lead and then runs a pace and forces the people chasing him to burn their stuff up. You saw Matt Sizzler sawing at the wheel through turns 9 and 10 right there, and all that's doing is heating up his tires and allowing Greg Evans to just pad that lead. Greg is just fine, I think, Matt, with allowing the. He's just fine with having a 2-second advantage over his nearest pursuer.
Yeah, he's really sawing that wheel and really burning up them tires. If I was Matt Sizzler there in his position, perhaps maybe save a set of tires, but I really don't think it really worked here on the road course because our stage break is coming up here very shortly.
Yeah, and the thing is, with saving a set of tires, I think you might see somebody like Kendall Paul make a pit stop just because he's got. We've seen him as high as 7th. Kendall runs in the 13th spot. You might see somebody like that who's not in a position for stage points make their pit stop early in stage 1, so that they can assume the lead for stage 2. You might see something like that. I don't think you're going to see anybody that's up in that top 10 surrender track position. Now, there's an interesting situation that you see kind of in the background. You see the rumble strips going off that little cutoff turn 11 there, Matt.
Yeah,
that is for the Indy cars. When they ran here, the FIA would not sanction open wheel cars to use the full course because of the entrance to pit road. And so they backed the hairpin up for the Indy cars, back up almost all the way to turn 10. The other thing that they did for the Indy cars was they did not run the full S's. They only ran turn 8, and then they went straight, bypassed turn 9, and then had a hard chicane at turn 9A, so that they didn't have to run turn 10 at high speed with the unprotected wall and no runoff right there. And it really kind of neutered the course. Now, they did run the full carousel and things of that nature, but they ran a very much a modified course. The other thing that we'll kind of touch on as the cars get back down through here, looking at Matt Sizzler 2nd, Mark Paget 3rd, Christopher 4th, Ryan O'Donoghue 5th, Stouffer and O'Donoghue fixing to go after it for 4th.
Yeah, I was getting ready to say that is probably the best battle on the racetrack.
Well, unless Ryan O'Donoghue drives off the course.
Yeah. He might come up here in turn 11, but I don't think he's close enough yet. Maybe come up turn 7 here.
O'Donohue elects to follow Christopher through turn 11, back onto the front straightaway. Now you see that big area off to driver's right, Matt, where there's no wall and nothing else over there. You see what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
That at one point was used as an auxiliary pit area. And so the pits here at Sonoma, back in the day, they did.
Oh, okay. I know what you're talking about. Go ahead.
Yeah, they didn't extend all the way as they do now. The first pit box was really not until you got almost to turn 12, and so there were only about 35 boxes in the pits. Dale Earnhardt used to select as the champion. He got to pick the first pit box. Pick his pit box first, and instead of taking the one all the way at the end of pit road next to the line where all he had to do was gun it across the line and gain spots, he actually elected the pit box furthest back toward turn 12 because in the days before speed limits, you didn't have to brake in the pit lane. Now, of course, speed limits have eliminated that, but the pits used to not. Whoa, we got trouble! Ted Craven around off the nose of Matt Sisler, and that's going to cost Matt Sisler several spots. Ted Craven around Matt Sisler is going to give up spots, and lap traffic rears its head, Matt.
Wow. We have to go back and watch that again.
We are. Matt Sisler going through the hairpin. Ted Craven actually drove way out wide to give the leaders a way through, and he got up and got in the wall, spun the tires, and came right back in front of Sisler.
Wow.
Mm.
He spun the tires coming off the corner. Unbelievable.
Yes, he did. Now,
I see a little bit of red mist under that 93 machine.
I do too, and the good news is it cost him some spots. It did not cost him a whole lot of time. He's just going to rejoin the rear of this group. Christopher has now caught Mark Paget. O'Donohue is still on the back of Stouffer, and then Matt Sisler is going to be right behind them. And it doesn't look as though there's a ton of damage to that 3 Supra, and so it does appear that he's going to be okay. But they used to call that pit area over there, Matt, they used to call it Gilligan's Island.
Yes, you're correct. Yep.
And there was a penalty if you were. They called it Gilligan's Island because once you got your stuff over there, you couldn't go back to the garage area, and so teams would carry
everything.
They would carry a junkyard over there. The other thing is that there was a time penalty if you were pitted over there, because once there were pit speed limits, it was a huge advantage to be pitted on Gilligan's Island.
I was sitting there trying to picture what you were talking about, and yes, I actually do remember. God, you make me feel old, Murph.
David Dunwoody bringing up that they run pavement sprint cars on a modified oval using the hairpin over here, like a Bowman Gray type thing. They have Legends cars here. All kinds of stuff happens at Sears Point. It truly is very much a multi-purpose facility. And of course, we mentioned the drag strip. If I am not mistaken, the first winner on the drag strip was some guy named Don Garlitz. He was the first winner on the drag strip at Sonoma. And let's see, Dan Gurney won the first champ car race, or USAC championship car race here. No surprise that Dan Gurney would be the winner. Ray Elder was the first NASCAR winner here. St. Louis Hayes getting out of the way.
Yeah, I saw that. And that opens the door for Ryan O'Donohue and the 47 Christopher to get around Mark Paget here.
It must. Now, Matt Sisler must be sporting a little bit more damage than I thought, because he has started to fall away a little bit from this group. But he's going to be okay. He's still in fifth. Stouffer all over the back of Mark Paget, but Ray Elder was the first NASCAR winner here in what was then known as the Pacific Coast Division, now the ARCA Menards West Series. The track at one point was owned by Filmways, which is a film production company. All kinds of stuff. And if memory serves me correctly, and I might be mistaken. I might be mistaken, but I think the first 300-mile-an-hour pass was run on the drag strip at Sonoma here by Kenny Bernstein. I'm thinking.
You're gonna make me do the old Google again.
I think it was the first 300-mile-an-hour pass, and a dragster was here. I could be wrong. I know it was Kenny Bernstein that did it, but I think it might have been here. The drag strip is very, very, very fast. You see Brian Sharp getting out of the way of the leaders. Now there's going to be an interesting situationship. Greg Evans is lapping cars now. Christopher Logan is next in line. He's about 11 seconds between himself and Greg Evans with 3 laps to go. Christopher Logan's biggest fan right now is Brian Sharp. Because, of course, if Christopher Logan remains on the lead lap, that would mean that Brian Sharp gets to be back on the lead lap, and Logan is losing about 3 seconds a lap to Greg Evans, and so that's going to come right down to the wire. There's going to be about a 30-second delay between Evans crossing the line and 10th place. The caution, of course, for the stage triggers whenever 10th place crosses the line. So that means Greg Evans is going to have to run an extra half a lap here, and that may very well put Christopher Logan that lap down. He's, again, 3 to 4 seconds off the pace with about 2 seconds left to play here, with about 2 to 3 laps left to play. And there's Logan in the number 70 as he continues to circulate this Sonoma course. And you can see Greg Evans, he's about the distance of the chute ahead of Greg Evans at this point. So not a lot in it, Matt. And Brian Sharp is saying, go Christopher Logan, go.
All right. I think I cannot pronounce this guy's last name. But the first 300 mile per hour pass at the Dragway was actually done Corey McCleffin. I'm sorry if I shammed your name. A speed of 301.40, and that was in top fuel.
Yep, so that was a dragster. Christopher Logan is going to come onto the pit lane, so he will not continue to race for that. He will not continue to race to stay on the lead lap, and that's actually going to let Brian Sharp get back by him. Greg Evans is still your leader. Stouffer and O'Donoghue are waging absolute war for that third spot.
At it.
Yeah. Absolute war for that third spot. Mark Padgett squirted away from them a little bit, but O'Donoghue has not left the rear bumper of Chris Stouffer. We'll ride on board Ryan O'Donoghue. Bridget, there's your man. He's chasing third, trying to get that third place finish in the stage that would be such a fill up for his championship chances. Down into turn 4 they go. It amazes me, Matt, how close they get to the exit wall at turn 4. By the way,
I was just getting ready to say that Christopher has been cutting it really close to that outside wall because it makes me look like they're really going to hit it from my angle. But Christopher is really fast at that section compared to Ryan O'Donoghue.
Yeah, it's almost like they play chicken with that wall, and if you watch them in real life, they do the same thing. You always think, "Oh my goodness, they're gonna smoke the wall the way it stays out." Christopher locks it up in turn 11. Ryan O'Donoghue looking to see if he can't get alongside. The problem for O'Donoghue, even if he makes that move, Matt, he's on the wrong side of the track going through turn 1.
You could possibly make the pass here, but it's kind of risky on the outside here at Sonoma, heading up the hill at turn 1. But in the Cup cars, that is he is just hounding Christopher.
He had to get out of the gas to not run him over that time, Matt. Christopher got a little bit wide at the exit of turn 3. or turn 2 rather, and Ryan O'Donoghue was right there and ready to pounce down through turn 4, and we'll see if O'Donoghue can't set this up with the pit stop from Christopher Logan. That has promoted Brian Sharp back to the first car, 1 lap down, and he's about 10 seconds ahead of Say Hey Lewis Hayes. And so Brian Sharp will get his lap back, all things being equal. Joshua Siegfried still has about 20 seconds before he goes a lap down. We are watching the battle for third from Sonoma, just about ready to end. Track Racer.
Yeah, he's going to set him up right here in turn 11. I really think he's going to set the pads up here in turn 11. He is just right on that rear bumper. Oh, he just loses. He had to get off the throttle there, but he's not able to set up that pass up in turn 11. That time, Chris did not lock up that right front there. Great job by Chris by holding on there.
These two drivers are doing a really terrific job of laying off of one another as we get down to the end of Track Racer stage number 1. The first stage, as always, here in the AMA is brought to you by Track Racer. If you go to trackracer.com and you put the web address in, just as I'm going to put it in the chat, you do have 5% of your order put into the season-ending AMA prize pool. And so we do want to thank Track Racer for their support of sim racing and sim racers. That's trackracer.com, and then it's !ref equal 123 at the end of the web address. 5% of your order goes in the AMA prize pool as the stage caution has flown. And the winner of Track Racer stage number 1 is this man, Greg Evans. And we ran into this last week for the first time, and it's happened again here, Matt. Greg Evans is going to have to go an extra lap because he had such a big lead. He has to go an extra lap to pick up the pace car.
Well, if you stop being so dang fast.
Hey,
that's kind of a good thing to say, though.
We'll tell him that if he wins the race. We'll have to get him in the interview room and tell him, accuse him of being too fast. But Greg Evans is your winner of Track Racer stage number 1, and there's your close-up of the Sim Magic Freightliner Deuce. He leads him around, and he'll actually make 21 laps in the first stage. And all that does, Matt, is it shortens the second stage by a lap, which is already the shortest of the stages. It's going to shorten it by a lap. We will go back to green coming to get lap 26, and so it's going to be a 20-lap stage number 2. 19-lap stage number 2, excuse me.
Oh man, you know what? I never seen Chris run a tin top, but my hat's off to that cat there. He's doing a fantastic job. I know he's been telling me stories. We've been running races together in the trucks over in my Discord, and he tells me he does like to run tin tops, here and there, and
Chris Stouffer telling stories, that never happens.
Never happens.
We need to get a Mike Rigney opinion, a Sam Crow opinion on Chris Stouffer and telling stories.
Come on. Yeah, he was telling me some stories.
Let's hear it about some Chris Stouffer stories. We'll see if we can't get some of these guys in the Discord before or after pit stops have ended, just to talk to some drivers. David Dunwoody, of course, has exited. Well, no, he's in with Ted Craven, John Houchins, Kendall Paul. We're gonna talk to David Dunwoody here very shortly. Might pull up one of the DVD guys. We'll see who we can rope into joining us in the booth here as we work the admin box caution flag to end Track Racer stage break number 1. If you haven't already done it, make sure you hit the like button on the video, ring the bell, subscribe to the channel so that you can get in on all the iRacing fun. Also, we do want to thank Outland Custom Arms for their support of the AMA at Outland Custom Arms. Their mission is to provide hunters and outdoor sportsmen with precision-crafted firearms rooted in Oregon's rugged legacy. Every build is hand-tuned for performance, reliability, and the uncompromising pursuit of the perfect shot. That is Outland Custom Arms, premier sponsor of the Outland Custom Arms Grand National Series here in the AMA. Pits are open. Matt, pits are open and everybody is coming.
Oh, without a doubt.
I think that might have been a smart move by Christopher Logan to make that pit stop. He wasn't going to be, and we see Brian Sharp take the lucky dog. Logan is not going to get the lucky dog but he is going to get Matt the wave around here if he hadn't have made a pit stop. He's coming back to pit lane. So Christopher Logan not going to get the wave. I was going to say, man, that's pretty smart, right?
Yeah,
But he did.
I would do the same thing.
But he didn't. He did not. As we watched the race on pit road, he elected to come back to pit road. Maybe he's got some damage on that machine, and indeed, I think he does because he's now been in his box for 20 seconds. So Christopher Logan will not take the wave around. Matt Sizzler says he has almost 7 minutes of damage.
Wow. Well, good thing about this track. It takes forever that pace car to go around, so you probably get 2 minutes of that 7 done.
He's going to get a lot of it. Speaking of it taking a while under caution, it took about 2.5 minutes for them to complete the first caution lap. So Sizzler, he's going to be able to get a bunch of it done. And speaking of guys who have a bunch of damage, let's get David Dunwoody up here in the booth. Mr. Dunwoody, you've got Murph, you've got Matty Wagner in the P1 broadcasting booth. You got a copy?
What's up, fellas?
You know, we're not doing too bad. You managed to shorten the nose of your car by about 1.5 feet earlier, so you're done. But tell us what it's like out there racing Sonoma in one of these Grand National cars.
You got to be very what do I want to say? Deliberate with how much throttle you give it. It'll light the rears up real quick.
We can certainly understand that. Matt, what do you have for David Dunwoody today?
Well, I think I can pick on David a little bit. You know, it's been meaning I've been talking to you about how do you like those Lotus 79s? Come on, man.
I love them things. Those things are so much fun.
He called me
I
the
didn't
other.
even say anything. But you won a damn race the other night.
Yes, I did.
He called me, Matt, and he said, "Hey, I'm going to run an Indy car." And I said, "It's not an Indy car. It's a Formula One car." It's about, so for those of you who don't know, the Lotus 79 is the first true ground effects Formula One car. And it's used in the sim as the lights go on in the pace car. And Matt Sizzler pulls away from pit lane. He got 1:49 of that 7 minutes done. You know, and this is still doable for Sizzler. There is going to be another stage yellow. You know, with his pace, he may be able to stop and get some damage fixed under green and not go a lap down. So there's still hope for Sizzler. He may also be able to race around and get another 30 seconds or so and catch back up to the field before we go back green. So all is not yet lost for Matt Sizzler, but yeah.
Oh no.
He says
not at all.
He says I'm going to go race an IndyCar, and he sends me the Lotus 79. For those of you who don't know, in the sim, that is used as an analog for early 1980s IndyCars, kart cars, and so forth, because that car is the basis for what became the 81, 82, 83 March chassis that was prevalent at Indianapolis in the early 80s. It's very similar in the way it handles, very similar in tires, and so that's what we use in the sim to approximate the early 80s IndyCar. But Dunwoody here was telling me it drives like a truck.
Come on, David.
It drives like a truck. Like we went to Homestead that first week, and I'm like, you just drive this thing in the corner like it's a truck. You lift a little and get in the draft.
You know, stop by the Discord. I'll give you some tips. Trust me, I'll give you a few pointers.
I was fast. I won practice on Monday night.
Did you win Monday night?
No, I won practice Monday night. I raced tin tops, not convertibles.
Oh, come on now. These tin tops are, going back to the race here. For me, I did a couple of practice laps here. It is definitely sketchy, and you have to be very patient on the throttle and your brake, and try not to overdrive the car, and try not to kill yourself here. It's very, very difficult. Some of these guys have more patience than others. But Murph? We're fixing to go back to green.
We are. Greg Evans going to line it up next to Mark Paget. He's got Christopher and Ryan O'Donohue in third and fourth. Hot pursuit. Matt Sisler has dropped back to the 14th spot. Last car on the lead lap, and there you see him just coming around the hairpin. He did stop and get some more damage fixed. Green is back out. Greg Evans reaches out and will race away into the lead. Meanwhile, Chris Stouffer going to go side by side with Mark Paget and claim the second spot. Ryan O'Donoghue's trying to go through as well, boys.
Yep. Why? Oh, we got a spinner in front.
That's Mark Paget. He locked up the rears. He locked up the rears in front of the field, Matt. Everybody got through clean. We'll keep it here because they're 2x2. Like it's the start of this race. Back for 6. It's Kendall Paul on Troy Carricker. That's Joshua Zorn and John Houchins. And the 60 of Lee Campbell has joined that fight. Now they get single file. Here comes Justin Osterman up the inside.
Wow.
We need to put Dunwoody back in with his team because that was an exciting move from Mr. Excitement there, David.
Yeah, you better go calm him down.
I'm not going to calm him down. I'm going to let him go. Let him cook.
All right, let him cook.
All right. Well, thank you so much, David, for stopping by. We'll put you back from where you came. Thank you so much, my friend. It's always good to talk to you.
Have a good night.
Absolutely. That is David Dunwoody, and we'll put him back in the correct Discord. Always good to talk to him. Meanwhile, Justin Osterman made a wild move up the inside, gained about 3 spots at turn 7. Joshua Zorn, he's looking on Kendall Paul for the 6th spot.
You know, I would not bet against Joshua Zorn. I had chance and privilege to race him in ISRA when we broadcasted that on P1. He was very quick on the ovals, but I have yet to see him on the road courses, but I think he's doing a really good job as he's sitting there trying to battle Kendall Paul there for 6th spot.
You know, he is, and Kendall Paul is a sneaky good road racer too. I've talked a lot about racing with him in the 24-hour stuff. He is very good. Kendall Paul, very consistent. He does not make a lot of mistakes.
Mm-hmm. You know, I will tip my cap to Kendall Paul. It was the first time that he has driven in the rain at the 24 hours. Remember that? Where we teamed together?
Yeah, so...
And he drove that entire stint in the rain, no accidents, no spins, kept the car clean. There's not much more I could say.
Yeah, and he was fast too.
Phenomenal. Yeah, he was fast.
He's one of those guys that is sneaky good on a road course. Troy Carricker, you see right in front of him. Troy Carricker had a great shot at the inaugural AMA race on the Chicago street course. Matter of fact, he led that race at one point. If the fans want to go back and have a look at that, Carricker ran very well. He got caught up in a mess, not of his own doing. But Troy Carricker, also a pretty good road racer, and we've seen him feature at the top 5 and near the podium in some of these events where these guys turn right and left. In front of him, you've got Sean Roberts. Roberts, very good run in both the trucks and the Grand National car at San Diego last week. Both times had incidents. Again, neither one of his own doing, just some bad luck. But Sean Roberts, very quick. And then you've got Ryan O'Donohue and Chris Stouffer. They're still going at each other. This time it's for second with the demise of Matt Sisler. They're going after it for second, boys. This is these two have had they've been locked together nose to tail for about the last 15 laps. At first it was for 5th, then it was for 4th, then it was for 3rd. Now it's for 2nd. They can't get off on one another, Matt.
Yeah, I've been watching that battle exclusively.
Sean Roberts is around, by the way.
Oh no.
That's turn 3, and we need to go back and figure out what's happened to Sean Roberts. I'd bet you $1 he locks the rear up here. Through turn 1. Might get He's side by side with Carricker. He turns in. I don't think he knew that Troy Carricker was there. Shot across the bows and yeah, shot across the bows and around goes Sean Roberts. So move Troy Carricker to 5th. Kendall Paul escaped through that mess, and now we've got a battle royale.
We might have a pass coming out here, turn 11. Nope. Ryan O'Donoghue elects to tuck in and stay behind Christopher. He had his opportunity to try and late break Christopher there, but I think the longer the run goes, the better that 14 car is. And as we've seen in the last couple of AMA races, he run really hard, really fast, the first couple of laps, and then he would fall off and then surrender lead and give up that all-important road course when he's all been looking for. And as you've seen, I think I see really a little bit more patient Ryan O'Donoghue. I think it's a fast Ryan O'Donoghue.
It is a very fast Ryan O'Donoghue, and we've seen him, Matt. We've seen him in spots, and we were talking about this just amongst ourselves earlier. We've seen him in spots go really, really hard, burn up his stuff early in races, and not make it to the end with enough tire to compete. We saw that at San Diego, where he was by far and away the fastest car in a single lap, just not able to translate that into long-run speed. It would not surprise me if he's not deliberately staying behind Christopher, and to say that he's saving tires, he wiggles pretty hard coming out of turn 10. It would not surprise me if he's deliberately laying behind Stouffer here, trying to save his stuff. Sam Crow chimes in, Joshua Zorn, class act, very disciplined. That's very true. But it wouldn't surprise me if Ryan O'Donoghue's not going to school right here. He's got Greg Evans in his ear. He's got another veteran like Chris Stouffer in front of him. What better way to learn than two guys like that just off your nose?
Yeah, like I said, usually in up here 3 and 4, up and toward going up the hill. During the first cut stage, he was really quick, and now he slowed his pace down. And look at Christopher. We are catching back up to Greg Evans. He's pretty much been in his own zip code for the past 30 laps.
Yeah, he built a 2-second and change lead earlier. Christopher is now caught right up to the rear bumper. I thought we were going to have a battle between Troy Carricker and Kendall Paul. Kendall Paul has escaped Troy Carricker. Carricker's pulled away from Joshua Zorn and Justin Osterman just a little bit, so that stabilized. The best battle on the track is for the lead. It is Christopher trying to run down Greg Evans, two veterans, and they've got the hungry youngin behind him in Ryan O'Donoghue with 30 laps down, getting ready to start lap 31 here at Sonoma. Do thank everybody for tuning it in. If you haven't already done it, make sure you hit the like button on the video, ring the bell, subscribe to the channel so that you can get in on all of the iRacing fun. Matt, we just passed 100 views on the video, and so that's a huge thing as always. Got a nice
crowd.
100
likes.
Yeah, we got a nice crowd watching this race. It's always good to see the folks enjoying sim racing and the passion and sharing in the passion that we have for the sport. It's always fun to see people enjoying that. Ted Craven off the course at turn 4, and he's stopped it up there. For whatever reason. And so Ted Craven 9 laps down, 17th. Ted Craven did something, Matt, that I thought was spectacular, and I've been raving about it for a couple of weeks, and I'm going to continue to rave about it. That's a stock car guy. He's known as a pretty good...
I know what you're going to say here.
Yeah, he's known as a pretty good restrictor plate racer. He entered the P1600, and it's an IndyCar race, and that was a professional level IndyCar event. There were 5 pro drivers in that race, and yes. Ted Craven entered that race with what I call the house set. So there was something that I put together just so that those guys would have something to run, and Ted Craven finished the race. He ran well. He stayed out of everybody's trouble. He stayed out of everybody's way. Stayed out of trouble. At the end, when it came down time for the 5 wide spectacular coming to the line, Ted Craven had the opportunity to to influence the outcome, and instead he pulled over on the backstretch, pulled out of the way, and let those guys fight for the win. And that was a tremendous marks of sportsmanship. But it was tremendous that I thought that was a tremendous effort. He was my driver of the race, and I think he finished 27th or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Just because he made the distance.
I have my hats off to him.
That's that's a guy that's in an unfamiliar car up against a pro field. That's not easy to do, Matt.
No, it's not. But at 14, still continues. Now he looks to the outside of Christopher up there in turn 11. No, he's not going to hold his own.
He makes black marks coming off the corner, and if we thought he was saving tires, that's gonna buzz him just a little bit. You're gonna see O'Donohue fall backwards from Christopher, gives up about a second. Here's a fight. You've got Kendall Paul in fourth. Troy Carricker has pulled right back to his rear bumper. This is some 8 seconds behind the battle between Evan Stouffer and O'Donohue. You got Kendall Paul, you got Troy Carricker, Joshua Zorn, and Mr. Excitement, Justin Osterman, making racetrack where there is none. This is a nice battle from fourth back through seventh, Matt.
Yeah, I agree with Rigney. As I saw in the chat, do not cat out Joshua Zorn. Right behind him, I see. Is that Justin Osterman there, just holding his own?
Yeah, that is Mr. Excitement, Justin Osterman. Now, that's another guy, he does run on the same endurance team as I do. He does not race in my car. But Justin Osterman is noted for being very good in a prototype. And so, a lot of these guys, they may not run, we talk a lot about the open wheel stuff with Christopher, Logan Edwards when he's in the car. And certainly we have a lot of experience with those guys, but there is a contingent here in the AMA, Kendall Paul, Justin Osterman, certainly among those that do run prototypes. And they do so very, very competitively in the Cadillac DPI. I do also want to point out that Kendall Paul has some open wheel bona fides, and this is you see a car parked off to the left there. That's Joshua Siegfried trying to stay out of the way of the battles for position around the course. Kendall Paul has some open wheel bona fides. He won a division in the iRacing IndyCar Series last season, and he's appeared in the top split oval races as Osterman dives the inside of Zorn, locks him up. Zorn goes wide, and I think he's going to hold the spot. But Justin Osterman all over the back of Joshua Zorn. Now he's going to try him on the high side in turn 11. Watch this.
Oh, a little bit, almost a little bit.
Now they're hitting. I shouldn't have gone back. I was going to go back to the replay because Justin Osterman just about used up Joshua Zorn going into turn 4. He finally gets past him going through the S's, and that might have been Joshua Zorn saying, "All right, you go on ahead, pal. Not time yet, quite to be pushing and shoving." And then Osterman blinks out. Right behind them is Matt Sisler. Sisler is running relatively competitive lap times. He's about the same speed as the leader. And I would expect that we're going to see him on pit road for, he can probably take another 20 or 30 seconds of repair just to try to continue to get that 3 birdies machine back in order. He said he had 7 minutes. He probably fixed 3 under that last caution. So, if he's able to come in and get another 30 seconds, he might very well, Matt, could get that thing all the way fixed by the time the last stage rolls around.
Hey, yes, he could get that damage repaired, but it's going to be tough. He might take maybe a full course caution. Then he would probably have the fully repair done. But I've been watching this battle between Ryan O'Donohue and Christopher for the last lap, and they were banging fenders going up in turn 11, and it was so close. So here we go. Side by side up in turn 11.
Yeah, O'Donoghue's really showing some late breaking chops going into turn 11, and really he's, you can't make the pass there. That it's not going to work on the outside. But what you're doing is presenting your car to the outside, and essentially you're saying, "Hey, I'm here," and you're trying to force a mistake, right, Matt?
Yeah. As you said, you can make a mistake here at Sonoma any day. But for Chris Stouffer here and Mark and Ryan O'Donohue, I really think in Ryan's approach, that is a very good idea because, Chris Stouffer is your typical IndyCar driver. You put him on a tin top, uh, he might force him to make a mistake here on a road course. As this road course is very, very treacherous, very, very slippery, and very easy to make a mistake. Because once you go off course here in the dirt, it could be pretty much be day done, probably in a tire barrier or
it
hit
could,
a pit wall.
It could, at minimum, it's going to cost you a ton of time just because it takes a long time. Maybe as many as a lap or two to get the tires cleaned back up when you go off course and you see O'Donohue present himself to the outside of Christopher one more time. The flip side of that, if there is one, when you talk about pressuring somebody like Christopher, is there aren't many in the sim that have as many starts and as many big races across as many different cars as Christopher. I mean, he's run in some pretty big championships. He's run in some pretty big races. He's run against some pretty big names. It's going to take a lot to get Christopher flustered.
Yeah, he was in the Expo last year on the main stage.
Yeah, he was.
That's pretty much pressure there, and he held his own, and I think he did a very tremendous job. Right there.
We're not going to talk about how I finished in that.
No, we're not.
I'm looking forward to avenging my last place finish at the Sim Gaming Expo last year. Of course, that great event going to happen this September over in Schaumburg, Illinois, Chicago. If you haven't done it, go to their website, simgamingexpo.com.
Oh, Stouffer going in defense mode here, just hanging out the inside line. I think Christopher is starting to get a little bit worried of Ryan O'Donohue because
I think he is.
Because more Ryan O'Donohue stays on that rear bumper, I really think he can really force him into a mistake because I've been watching him past couple of laps of Christopher, but I've seen no brake lockup from him, and I did see quite a few the first stage, but I think he's cleaned that up.
Yeah, he has. But we continue to watch this fight. I was going to say, if you haven't already done it, you haven't already done it, you want a good time, head on over to simgamingexpo.com. Get yourself a ticket. Join us in Schaumburg. I'll be there.
Oh, there's a mistake.
Yep.
Christopher spun right off the corner. What did I tell you, Murph?
Well, that's what it takes. Christopher lit the tires up coming off of turn number 7, and that allowed Ryan O'Donohue to get right on past, and Ryan O'Donohue now is in that second spot. Do want to point out Joshua Zorn has made it past Justin Osterman, and so has Matt Sizzler, and Zorn is now all over the back at Kendall Paul as we get to 2 to go in the stage. But if you head back to I'm gonna get this out. If you go to the simgamingexpo.com, buy yourself a ticket. You'll get a chance to see and meet and greet with a lot of the guys that you see here. I know I'll be there. Caleb Brashear is going to be there. Caleb and I are actually sharing a room, and so I hate to. That room is in my name. I need to change that and put it in Mike Rigney's name so they send him the bill for the damage. But Caleb Brashear and I are going to be there. I know a lot of the luminaries from the open wheel community are going to be there. Christopher will be there. I know you're going to be there, Wags. It is going to be a tremendous time. Ryan O'Donohue from this series is going to be there. We've been mentioning Mike Rigney's name a lot. He's going to be there. He's already taunting me with open qualifying on an oval, Matt. So
yeah,
he's going to be there. It's going to be a good time. Again, simgamingexpo.com. Buy yourself a ticket. See us in Chicago in September as we watch Joshua Zorn all over Kendall Paul here as we head down to the end of this second stage.
I can cue the Jaws music, I would.
You know, I forgot. I thought I had it in my head for some reason that the stage was going to be at 40. It's actually going to be at 45. So there is time yet in the stage for Joshua Zorn to make that move on Kendall Paul here.
Well, you remember that earlier spin from Mark Paget? He has worked his way all the way up to P9 right now.
Well, P8. He actually just got by Matt Sizzler. So Mark Paget, who went around at the front of the field on a restart, he had been one of the early leaders. He's gotten past Matt Sizzler, and he's looking at Justin Osterman now for the 7th spot. And this ought to be a battle. Justin Osterman, he's not known as Mr. Excitement for nothing. He is very quick to make a move to be passed, and he can be very difficult to pass. On the flip side, Mark Paget's been one of the few drivers today that's shown he's got the pace to keep up with Greg Evans. And Evans, by the way, still lapping in the 119 bracket.
Yeah,
the only other cars doing that, Matt, Justin Osterman, Mark Paget, and Sean Roberts. Everybody else is well into the minute 20s.
Whoa.
Osterman blinking out a little bit. Paget heads to the inside. He's hard on the binders. Osterman covers him off. That could have been interesting. And Osterman lights the tires up on corner exit as we get.
Ended bad.
It could have ended badly. Mike Rigney shouting out, if you use code SGE15 at checkout after July the 10th, you get 15% off your tickets. I need to appeal to Mike. Do I get 15% back on my tickets or
Yeah, I want 15% now because I already come on. I want some of my money back. What's up with that? Where's my promo code?
We'll have to get Mike to refund us in person. How about that?
Yeah, I like that. You can buy me. You know what? You can buy us a beer. How about that?
Please, no more beer. I've got to deal with Brashear for 3 days.
That's too bad.
No, there's all kinds of fun that happens at that thing. You got flight sims, you got combat sims, you've got, of course, the racing stuff and the Sims stage and all of that. It's truly a wonderful event. I kid, I joke, Mike. I'm happy to pay full price. I know what goes into it. 15% isn't a huge deal for me, but I would encourage everybody, if you're going to be in the Chicago area in September, go to that thing. It's a ton of fun. Right now, Mark Paget having a ton of fun. He is all over the back of Justin Osterman. They've got 4 laps to go in the stage, Matt. You think he's going to be able to get it done?
Yeah, I think so. I've been watching him Osterman come down to turn 11, and he is pretty much almost lighting up the tires when he comes to that hard braking zone. His tires are going to suffer for that. Whoa.
Yeah, it's Mark Paget got awfully close and he backed out of that move. And I wonder, if you're Paget, we'll jump on board with Mark Paget in that 22 state water heaters machine just for a little bit. I wonder if seeing Osterman blink a little has him kind of worried, Matt.
I wouldn't be too worried. Especially here on the road course, it wouldn't too fun. But if you're on an oval and you got multiple cars around, I take the blinking pretty seriously.
I tell you what else I'm seeing. I'm going to tell you something else. I saw a lot of wheel hop out of that 53 of Justin Osterman get down to turn 11. Did you see the back of that car stepping in and out, Matt?
Yep. Yes, I did. You could adjust that just very easily with a knob to move that brake bias. It depends on how he's got his car set, because I think you can only move it 3 up and 3 down for the O'Reilly car, if I'm correct.
You can. Justin Osterman, big wiggle, big lockup going through turn.
Oh, did I just hear his car blow up?
It may very well have. Justin Osterman is very slow coming down the chute, and that car is not under power. I
think he money shifted.
I do too. We need to go back. And have a look at that from his on board, because we saw that happen from inside. We saw that happen from inside Mark Padgett. And I think you're about right. I think he went to grab a gear and shifted it the wrong way. Listen. He downshifted too fast, Matt. One more time. Did you hear it? He went from third to first, and it blew the thing up.
Oh, yeah. You see how his car wiggled there? Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
So Justin Osterman is going to pull to the pit lane with a blown engine. For him, that's going to mean he's going to be credited with 14th place. Joshua Siegfried, Ted Craven, Lewis Hayes, and David Dunwoody out of this one. Craven's still circulating. He is 13 laps down, so it may be 15th for Osterman, but that one is definitely done. Meanwhile, Stouffer and O'Donoghue have renewed their fight. There they are. Chris Stouffer in hot pursuit of O'Donoghue now. And Joshua Zorn continues all over the back of Kendall Paul, and Mark Padgett has just about caught him. That's the one we'll watch 5th, 6th, and 7th here as we get to the end of stage number 2 at Sonoma. Yeah.
I really think Mark Padgett has to speed up. Maybe get around Josh Zorn. Maybe toward the end of the stage.
Well, he's got a lap to do it. The yellow is gonna come out projected here about where they are now the next time through. So he's got one lap, but he's got 2 spots, or he's got 2 spots in front of him. And Padgett, the last time through, was the faster of these cars. He was nearly a second quicker than Carricker, Kendall Paul, or Joshua Zorn, and so he is definitely the quicker of the cars, but he doesn't really have anywhere to go, and there's nowhere to pass him, Matt.
I think about that lap car maybe become a factor here.
Well, that's Brian Sharp, and he does get him bottled up a little bit, but it's going through the S's. There's nowhere for him to get away out of the way. Now he pulls off. Okay. Track left at turn 10, and they'll steam down toward turn 11, and the stage is going to end when 10th place crosses the line. Now, for these guys, that's going to be about 20 seconds. So here they come across the line. Can Mark Padgett claim a spot over Joshua Zorn and Kendall Paul before the end of the stage? We'll see.
No.
Not quite able to do it. But again, the stage does not end. The yellow does not fly. The admin box yellow flag does not come out until John Houchins crosses the start-finish line. There's Houchins, and he is on his way. And so no further positions will change hands before the end of Blackmagic Studios stage break number 2. Surprise, surprise. Blackmagic Studios stage number 2 won by Greg Evans. And there's Greg. Blackmagic Studios are a small operation dedicated to high-quality iRacing paints and wraps for any car. You can visit them on Discord or Facebook for your next high-quality iRacing paint. When you see me behind the wheel of a car in an iRacing event, and you saw it Tuesday night, Matt. I drove at Michigan, broke out the Bobby Unser special. That is a Blackmagic Studios design. So definitely recommend them. Well, I ran 12th. Michigan is kind of a funny thing. People are used to seeing the 4 wide, 4 rows deep pack race. It was not that. The tires wore out, and I called the strategy wrong. I tried to go long, and then by the time I realized the short pit was the way to go, it was too late now. I lost too much time. We still managed to roll out 12th in a 5,300 something strength of field. So not all that
too bad.
Not all that bad of a day, right?
Yeah, not too bad.
When you have a 5,400 I rating and you're the number 10 car, you're in a strong field, right?
Yeah, you're in a strong field. You're going to be up against it. Myself personally, you know me, I don't really run officials, but when I do gain a few I rating, and that's all you can ask for. And
yeah,
I may do it next year, but we'll see.
I've told people this all the time, and this is probably the best advice I can give somebody that's out there that is as we head toward the pit road, the field's starting to pack up behind the pace car. When you first get into iRacing, the temptation is to do two things. One, run around at the back and kind of level up your license level so that you can get into the Cup cars, the Grand National cars, Cup cars, or trucks, Indy cars, whatever it is that you want to race.
Yeah.
And the other temptation is to get frustrated if you're not winning every race you're in. So there's two things that I tell people. First, simply run each car until you're comfortable running each car on the limit. Don't just do the 4 rookie street stock races and then go to ARCA, run 4, go to trucks, run 4, go to Grand National, run 4, so you can get to Cup. That's not the point, right? Run each car to the best of your ability is first, and really take the time to learn each car because it's going to help you as you move up the chain. The second thing is forget winning. Run against your car number if you're in an official. So if you're in an official race and you are the number 10 car, that means that per the iRating system, which is like your gamer score, you should run about 10th. So if you beat the number on your car, you've had a good night. If you don't beat the number on your car, you haven't. And if you run like I did Tuesday, or right around what your car number is, Greg Evans gets off pit road, well, you've done about right. And that's the way that I look at it. And the other thing about running cars to your ability rather than trying to level up, you may find that your niche is not in the car that you think you want to race. I did not set out to run Indy cars, Matt. I set out to, go Cup racing and do that whole thing.
Right.
I didn't set out to run Indy cars and, two overall world championships on Indy cars and ovals later. I haven't probably raced a stock car. I haven't raced anything with a roof since the 24 Hours of Daytona, and I probably haven't raced a stock car since the last time Mike Rigney ran stock cars in ISRA.
Oh, I had a blast at running the IRC stock cars, but I got my doors ripped out by the guy who is running first right now.
I'll tell you what, who I really enjoy, and I called a lot of those early ISRA truck races, was Lionel Callisto. I've never seen somebody drive a car so horribly out of shape so often.
And be fast.
And be so fat. Like, I would sit, and this is true of me as a broadcaster and true of me as an announcer. I was behind him once in a truck at Kansas. And I look up, and you can kind of see through the guy in front of you a little bit. You can see his hands.
Right.
I look up, and I'm following him through the corner, and I look up, and he's half a lane above me, so I can see his hands. And that son of a gun has the wheel cocked all the way to the right, smoking the right rear tire, turning the truck left, and he's pulling away from it. I'm thinking, how does this dude even have tires on the car? Right? How's he not blown the right rear up? And he never does, and it's one of the truly most amazing things I've ever seen somebody drive something just that far out of shape. Do want to point out, Christopher Logan is going to get back on the tail end of one lap down here. There he goes.
I hope you just read what Mike Rigney just wrote in chat.
Yeah, and he's right. When you don't worry about the numbers as much, iRacing becomes fun. That's why a lot of guys like running in leagues, because the iRating thing doesn't really matter as much. I don't mind doing the official stuff, but you have to temper yourself when you look up and you're in a field with, on the open wheel side, when you're in a field with, Robert Malechka, Jacob Oster, Jason Brophy, Adam Blocker, those guys. You look up, and Kyle Clinworth is another one, Jesper Orman. When you look up and those guys are in the race with you, you have to be realistic about what you're doing and your chances, and not put pressure on yourself. Christopher, another one of those guys, not put so much pressure on yourself to absolutely win the race, because it's not you're not going to show up as, and I'm very much an amateur driver, right? At least I don't consider myself to be a pro level driver, but I'm not going to beat the guys that do this for a living, right? And those guys do it for a living, and so that's the thing. I'm here to have fun. I'm here to call a race. I'm here to drive in them occasionally. We are about to get to another green flag run here. Do want to point out, Matt Sizzler took another 2 minutes of repair, and so Sizzler, he's gotten about 5.5, 6 minutes. It is going to take him a full course caution to get any more of that damage fixed, and we don't anticipate one of those, but anything is possible. We've still got, by my count, 14 cars running. Justin Osterman has retired. He will finish 15th. Ted Craven will eventually pass him. We've got 12 cars on the lead lap. Matt Sizzler is the last car on the lead lap. Christopher Logan 1 lap down, and Ted Craven still circulating 15 down. So we've got runners still out there, and we're getting ready to head back to green. Do want to welcome Larry Yingling into the chat there. And there's a name that we haven't seen since Area 51 on Tuesday nights. Larry Yingling is sneaky good in just about everything he touches.
Green.
A lot of fun watching him run the Area 51 IndyCar Series. As we get back to green, Greg Evans leads away from teammate Ryan O'Donohue, and Troy Carricker has moved into third. Kendall Paul, Christopher is now fourth.
Oh, we got contact!
Stouffer off the nose of Troy Carricker, and Stouffer is now going to be at the back of the line, and you saw that coming, Matt.
Oh, my goodness.
You saw that coming. Here we go. Up to the top of the hill. Watch the 94 machine and the 47 in front. Troy Carricker drops the right side off into the grass or the dirt. Can't get it stopped. Into Christopher he goes. Joshua Zorn gets involved a little bit. Lee Campbell gets a piece of that. And Christopher goes to the back of the line, tailing Charlie on the lead lap. There's still time, though. He's got plenty of speed, but he's got 30 laps to do it. But he's also in about an 11-second hole. Meanwhile, guess who moved back into third spot in that melee?
Oh, boy.
Sean Roberts.
Wow. Nice little comeback.
It is. He's got Kendall Paul and Troy Carricker trying to make up for lost time. He dives to the inside of Joshua Zorn. Front brakes locked into the hairpin, but he can't make it stick. Zorn going to power off at turn number 12, and he'll continue on in the fifth spot, but that's a good little battle for fifth. It's Joshua Zorn with it. Troy Carricker wants it. Sean Roberts and Kendall Paul, though, they're about to have a battle, and Kendall Paul locks up his brakes, and that means he's going to fall into the clutches of Joshua Zorn. Whew. I'm starting to lose my voice, Matt.
We need that voice.
Well, I don't know. For those of you who don't know, for my profession, I'm an insurance adjuster for auto claims for a major national insurance company, and I spend about 7 of my 8 working hours talking on the phone, and then for my hobby, I come talk for another 3 hours. So, my goodness sakes, my voice is starting to not like me very much. Ryan O'Donohue and Greg Evans have escaped. The battle is for third. Roberts, then Kendall Paul fourth, Zorn fifth. Troy Carricker holds on to the 6th spot, and Lee Campbell has snuck into 7th. Meanwhile, The red mist is fully behind the helmet of is fully formed in the helmet of Christopher. He's made it past. Yeah. He's made it past Brian Sharp, so he's gotten back to 11th, and now he's working on Matt Sisler. The thing for Sisler is he's gotten a lot of the damage on that 3 birdies Toyota fixed. He's a lot quicker than that 11th spot belies, I think, Matt.
Yeah, I'm just curious how much damage is on that 47 machine. As you see, he go right off the rumble strips there. I'm curious to see how much, because he got hit by quite a few cars right on that front of that hood there.
Now, the hit to the back is not going to hurt anything. It's kind of the scrape going by from Lee Campbell that would do any damage. We're on board with Christopher now, looking at just kind of seeing if the steering wheel is straight. We won't get an indication of that until the run down to turn 11, though. So here he is. Everything looks okay, more or less, through turn 10. It doesn't look like the wheel's off, maybe, but just a little bit, and that could just be a choice. We see Lee Campbell wide. John Houchin's going to go through up ahead. It doesn't look like it's hurt too awful bad, Matt.
It doesn't look like too bad. A little bit of lockout come turn 11, but that's just the red mist, pouring through the helmet. Oh, he's going to go off track. Yeah.
Missed the corner.
He saved the car. Yeah,
he saved the car, but he missed the corner and got it all locked down. Back to this fight between Roberts, Paul, Zorn, and Carricker. And if these guys aren't careful, they're going to mess around and let John Hutchins, Lee Campbell, Mark Paget, Matt Sisler, and Chris Stouffer get back to him. There's not much. There's about half of the chute worth of a gap separating these two groups, Matt.
Yeah, about 4 cars within a second of each other. Probably just one guy just going to make a mistake, and it's all.
Yeah, it's not going to take a mistake from much anybody, and of course, there's not much in it between Carricker and Houchins now. Meanwhile, Mark Paget is going to get through Lee Campbell. Matt Sisler is going to follow him through, or try to. Sisler lights up the rears, getting off the hairpin, and he is going to make it through. So move Sisler back to 9th, demote Lee Campbell to 10th, and he is immediately going to be challenged by Chris Stouffer. Up at the front, there's not really much of a challenge for the Deuce at all, Matt. Greg Evans, he started to put his stamp on this event. The only car in the same zip code is teammate Ryan O'Donohue. They've pulled out 5 seconds over the battle between Roberts, Paul, Zorn, and Carricker.
I do apologize. My mic got cut out for a minute. I had a technical little bit error right here. Just a little bit. Saw me blinking a little bit, but you know what I mean. In order Ryan to probably keep up with Greg Evans there, he has got to take care of those tires. As you saw in stage 1 and stage 2, Greg was able to maintain his pace, just not really burning up his stuff. If Ryan would continue to do that, he's going to win this race. But until he does that, he's probably going to stay where he's at.
He might well. You just saw Joshua Zorn get past Kendall Paul, so move Zorn up into that 4th spot, and he will immediately begin giving chase to Sean Roberts. Zorn has been very, very quietly and sneakily quick in this event. They had fallen 2 seconds behind Sean Roberts. Joshua Zorn's already cut that down to about a second. And so he is coming late in this race. Joshua Zorn closing down on Sean Roberts. Zorn is the closer. He's a guy that waits until the money's up. Well, the pay window is starting to open, and that number 9 is coming toward the front, Matt.
Yeah, that's the way he did it in ISRA. You never really saw the guy until, pretty much the last closing 15 laps of the race. You never heard from him. That's how you like to do your races, too. Never show up and just show up when the pay window comes out and put your car up front when the pay windows open. Hopefully you get a chance to win the race. He is hounding at 33. Oh, he sends it in deep there in turn 11. Just making a whole bunch of time going close to that. Yeah. He's making a whole bunch of time.
Yeah.
In the late braking zones. Oh, we saw a little bit of bobble up the 30 there. Sean Roberts.
Yeah, Joshua Zorn has saved his stuff and put himself into a position where he's going to be able to challenge Sean Roberts for a podium. Last time through for Zorn, 1 minute 18.582, a minute 20 flat. Yeah, a minute 20 flat for Sean Roberts, minute 19 flat for O'Donoghue, and a minute 18.6 for Greg Evans. Right now, Joshua Zorn is the fastest car on the track with one exception, and that is Mark Paget. Paget is the only other car other than Zorn and Greg Evans that is in that minute and 18-second bracket. Everybody else is into the 120s, unless you're Ryan O'Donoghue. He's at a minute 19. But everybody's starting to slow down, really, except for Joshua Zorn. And Sean Roberts may have found a little bit of pace in that last lap because Zorn has gotten there. He made Roberts worry, but Roberts seems to have kicked it into the high gear, and that gap has now stabilized. We're going to do something fun here, Matt. With 23 laps to go, I'm going to get a little bit of a poll together for the chat here. We're gonna do something a little bit different. Normally we talk about normally we put racing related questions in here, but since we've got Mike Rigney present, I think we're going to try something different. All right. One more little bit of typing. All right. So tonight's question here in the AMA Outland Custom Arms Grand National Series: what is the best condiment for a corn dog?
Oh my! You did not.
Ketchup. You got ketchup, mustard, relish, or mayonnaise. Those are the choices.
What?
Those are the choices for best condiments on a corn dog. I saw a meme the other day that said that mayonnaise is actually lotion for a sandwich. I showed that to my wife, and her immediate reaction was to smack me upside the head. So we're gonna go with that. Get your picks in here, because we're gonna ask the winner of this race what their preferred condiment on a corn dog is. Ketchup, mustard, relish, or mayonnaise. Get your picks in as we watch Joshua Zorn continue to attempt to run down Sean Roberts. The front two are gone. Greg Evans, Ryan O'Donoghue have built about a 5-second advantage over this battle. Can Joshua Zorn claim the final podium spot? Or is it going to be Sean Roberts holding on? We're going to find out in about 20 laps here in the AMA Outland Custom Arms Grand National Series. Do want to thank Outland Custom Arms for their support of the series. Outland Custom Arms at Outland Custom Arms, their mission is to provide hunters and outdoor sportsmen with precision-crafted firearms rooted in Oregon's rugged legacy. Every build is hand-tuned to provide performance, reliability, and the uncompromising pursuit of the perfect shot. That's Outland Custom Arms. Do want to thank Archway Industrial Coatings as well for their support of the AMA, Track Racer, Blackmagic Studios, Admin Box, Rogue Energy, Simshop.com, all of the series sponsors. It has been a dandy. We are just about, Matt, and I don't know if you knew this or not, we are just about halfway through the season. There are a little bit more than halfway. 33 rounds. This is the 19th. Of course, the next race is next week, July the 2nd, the Freedom 300 from Chicagoland Speedway. So we'll get back to more circular action. And yes, Matt, Chicago is a circle. It is not an oval. Do you know that?
Yes, I know it's an oval.
But it's not. It's not
very tricky oval though.
It is not your regular dog leg oval. That track is actually a true oval. Do you know that?
Please do tell.
Okay, so everybody knows the big left at Langhorne, the track that was the circle, and you had to drift for the entire lap. Chicago,
about the backstretch, right? Aren't you?
Yeah, Chicagoland, the backstretch is not straight. It is curved.
Yes,
it's not a lot, but it is definitely. Now, we drive it in a straight line, but if you look at the track from an aerial shot, it is certainly not straight. As John Roberts has pulled away now a little bit over Joshua Zorn. He was 0.3 up that lap. He's got Ted Craven, though, in the S's. Craven going to stay wide at turn number 10. The teddy bear trying to stay out of the way, trying not to impact. And Ted Craven gets out of the way, but Joshua Zorn now has fallen a 1.5 seconds behind Sean Roberts. Your leader, well, it's Greg Evans, and that pretty much tells the tale, Matt. There's only one other car in the shot, and it's a very distant Ryan O'Donoghue in second. And there's Ryan O'Donoghue. Was actually a little bit quicker that last time through, but he's spotted Evans 3 seconds.
Is he listening to me on the broadcast? Is he pulling to me and listening to what I was saying about saving them tires? Because it's probably paying off for him. And just let Greg Evans, just run a little bit harder and drive a little bit smarter there, Ryan. Go get him.
Here's the thing, and this is my thought process on Ryan O'Donoghue. Sam Crow said earlier in the chat that he loved the approach that Ryan O'Donoghue was taking this race. He was going to try to be more. He was going to try to be more consistent. He was going to try to lay back. He was going to try to save his stuff, and that's kind of shown up a little bit in this last run. He's done a fantastic job. Now he didn't have. He's given a big lead to Greg Evans. This last time through, I think it might be Greg Evans that's listening to the broadcast. Minute 19:108 for Greg Evans. Minute 19:128 for Ryan O'Donoghue. So Greg Evans definitely knows what Ryan O'Donoghue's running, and he's just trying to match that. The bigger one to me is this man, Sean Roberts. He spun earlier all the way back to 12th. He's been as high as third, and this is his high on the race. But he was a contender for the podium earlier, spun out, went all the way to the back, and he's clawed his way back up into the podium with 18 laps to go here. Behind him, you've got Joshua Zorn. Zorn started 10th. He's currently 4th. This is as high as he's been. He's been back as far as 11th. But Zorn, again, known as a closer, Matt, and he is certainly closing Kendall Paul. Still right about where he started. He hasn't varied all that much, although he did go back to 13th due to an earlier fracas at the very beginning of the race. But he's more or less been right in this 4th, 5th, or 6th range for the entire run. Mark Padgett claimed the Simshop Pole Award. He is currently 6th. He's also had his trials and tribulations. He's closing in on Kendall Paul, trying to get that top 5 run in. But Mark Padgett not having a bad day either. Currently in 6th after sitting on the pole. Troy Carricker has had his share of concert attempts. He's been near the podium. He is currently 7th after starting 9th. Chris Stouffer has made his way around John Houchins. He's been as high as second and challenging for the lead. He's pulling up on the lap car of Brian Sharp. He currently runs 8th after having an incident on the restart for this third stage. John Houchins is 9th. A guy not noted as a road racer, Matt, but he's certainly keeping it on the track. He's kept it on the track. And he's looking for a top 10 run. Brian Sharp, 1 lap down in the 10th spot. There he is. Again, another guy just trying to circulate, score some points, and that'd be big for him. Lee Campbell is in 11th. Or excuse me. Yes, he's in 11th. 1 lap down. Christopher Logan is 12th. The graphics are 1 lap behind. He is 12th after having started 19th. Matt Sisler currently sits on pit lane, and that's the disappointment of Matt Sisler. You heard it earlier in the chat. Started earlier in the chat. He's been as high as near the lead of this race, and he's on pit lane. He's been there for 2 minutes, and that tells me that Matt Sisler got a meatball and had to bring the car to pit lane for repair because he's been there for a while. The only battle of note on the track right now is Mark Paget on Kendall Paul.
I probably have to go back and do a little bit of investigation here.
I don't know that he hit anything, though. Matt. I think it was one of those situations where that car is damaged, and you know as well as I do, sometimes a car will run perfectly fine, but if it's out of line in some way, the machine just it'll wear one segment of the tires down to 0 and force you to pit. Now, Sisler's going to have an extra set of tires in the pit lane, so he'll be able to get going again, but he is going to want to get all of that fixed. And there he goes. He said he actually just wanted to get the car fully repaired. And so Sisler on pit lane. He's going to be, right now, he looks to be on for 13th spot. So he may only wind up losing a handful of positions to do that.
Yeah, he did self-spin. I was kind of looking at it going back, and the more you run with a damaged car, it's going to overheat over time. That I do know. That's the old damage model. I am unsure about these in the tin tops now. I'm not sure. Well, he's going back onto the racetrack right now, Matt Sisler. Looks like he has gotten all that damage repaired. Because I'm looking at the front end right now, and it's clean.
Yeah, there it is. He's made it back out on the course, 3 minutes 34 seconds in the box, and so that would tell me that 93 Theory Birdies machine is fully repaired. But he'll look to finish 13th in this one. Meanwhile, the battle continues to rage for the final spot in the top 5. Kendall Paul has it. Mark Paget definitely wants it. The pole continues. The battle in the pole continues to rage because Ketchup and Mustard are tied right now, Matt, with 6 votes apiece.
Here we go. Here we go. Got pass for the 5th spot. A little bit of contact between Kendall Paul and Mark Paget, and Mark Paget is going to take that spot from Kendall Paul.
It is.
Move Mark Paget
to the 5th spot. Yeah, and there's another one. There's another one brewing, and this might be a little bit more interesting as we get 14 laps to go. Christopher has now caught Troy Carricker.
Oh boy!
And so Stouffer is on the march. He's made it back to 8th, and he's looking at the man that spun him out of a podium position, dead ahead. Chris Stouffer on the hunt. He's got the 94. Remember, those two came together at the start of the stage. We need more votes, by the way, to break the tie between Ketchup and Mustard, so that we can.
By the way, I already voted.
We have a definitive answer. I can't vote. So for whatever that's worth.
Larry Yingling, if you're out there, vote. Come on.
There's no ID required to vote in the P1 broadcasting poll on best corn dog, condiment on a corn dog.
I'm going to give you a little bit of history on Larry. Larry used to run. So Area 51 used to run a stock car series that ran every Thursday. And every week, guess who was the man to beat?
Larry Yingling,
Larry
probably.
Yingling.
Yeah.
And guess who was the guy who pretty much almost always finished second to Larry? And I'll give you a hint. He ran the IndyCar last season. He was in the points battle.
Oh golly, Ryan. They ran together, right?
Ryan Kelly.
Ryan Kelly, yeah.
Yeah, he is fast in a tin top.
Well,
Those two boys.
We got
really
two more.
good.
We got 2 more votes, and we're still tied. So keep voting. We'll keep tabulating here. We'll keep tabulating. 8 votes for ketchup. 8 votes for mustard. Get them in before the end of the show here, as Christopher is all over the back of Troy Carricker. This is the only battle of note on the course. It's the only one that's even close. Everybody else is more than 2 seconds away. Yeah. Press R1 to intimidate for Christopher. Let's jump on board with old Stover. Here we go.
By the way, I used to play that video game a lot. NASCAR Thunder, yeah.
Whoa, big dive! Big.
You saw what I saw. Oh,
I definitely saw what you saw.
R1. Too much R1.
Christopher had it locked all the way down. He didn't quite get there, and he'll have to reload for one more shot at Troy Carricker. That is, as Sam Crow says, I'll give you 3 chances. The first time says I'm here. The second time says I want by, and the third time is usually I'm going by. That was 1. Christopher looks to deliver number 2. He's all over the back of the 94 of Troy Carricker, and he has definitely got R1 held down. I still have that game somewhere. One of the things in my collection of video games, and I've got a pretty nice one, is a OG PS3 that's unlocked. So it's still got the original unupdated operating system from Sony on it, so it can play PS1 and PS2 games. Got one of those handy, and do thoroughly enjoy that, by the way, Matt. So I still have my entire PS2 and PlayStation 1 library.
I got it.
Yep.
Still,
you're not the only one.
Those things were those things are expensive. Yeah.
Yes.
But for me, it was nice because I got to clean up. I got to clean up a huge amount of space in my entertainment center, and so instead of having 4 PlayStations up there, I've only got 2. Right? Instead of having 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 all lined up, it's just OG 3 and a PS5 Pro now.
I've been watching the gap between the first and second. It is still pretty much stayed the same. Ryan O'Donoghue, that last time by, was about 4/10 quicker than Evans. Maybe Evans made a little mistake on the track, but now it is kind of stabilized.
It ebbs
about 3.3.
It ebbs and flows, and I'll tell you something else. Mark Paget has caught Joshua Zorn, and so there's Paget. He is all over the back of Zorn, and he was 0.7 of a second quicker than Joshua Zorn the last time through. And here he is. He's pulled right up on the back of the Napa Auto Parts number 9. Chase Elliott versus the 22 would have been what? Ward Burton ran the.
Yeah, it is Ward Burton. Yep, you're correct. But it was a black and it was black and orange theme. Yeah,
it was. If you ever want to hear something funny, just Google Ward Burton cat skid steer loader.
Oh God.
And just Google that, and poor Ward Burton. Definitely born on the southern side of the house for sure.
Yeah, they really gave him a hard time on the radio. I listened to that. That was just hilarious.
Just call that guy over there. Tell him. Yeah, Ward Burton, cool dude. I've met him a few times.
Awesome.
He'd be to me, he'd be a really interesting guy to spend a weekend in a deer stand with. Ward Burton. Meanwhile, the guy sporting his colors, Mark Paget, is all over the back of Joshua Zorn, trying to get through here on that 4 spot.
He might send it here in turn 11.
Yeah, he's going to go up the inside.
Goes.
Zorn is not going to challenge this. He knows that Paget is faster. Zorn moves aside. Mark Paget is going to go through into the 4 spot, and he will try to run down Sean Roberts. Now, Roberts and Zorn were doing battle earlier. The problem is, and we've switched it over to the gap to the car in front, you can see it there. Mark Paget is 4.5 seconds behind Sean Roberts with 9 laps to go. That's an awfully big gap to bridge. Do want to remind fans, get your votes in. It's still tied between ketchup and mustard here for best condiment on a corn dog. Don't make Greg Evans break the tie in victory lane, because we will ask him, or at least I will. Go ahead and get your answers locked in before that can happen. But there's Mark Paget. He's gotten into 4th. Chris Stouffer had fallen a 1.5 seconds behind Troy Carricker. He's now started to pull back up on the 94, and so we're about to have another battle for the 7th spot. The big question that I have on the poll, though, Matt, is did Mike Rigney vote twice, once for ketchup and once for mustard?
You know, I can very easily break that tie.
Well, you know, you should, or you should vote for mayonnaise and throw everything for a loop. Or relish.
I'm on it.
You know, you should. Because then it would be no clear winner. We'd have to have a runoff. Chris Stouffer, big wiggle coming off the hairpin, and he's going to lose a little bit more time. He does that about every 3 laps. You'll see a big wiggle from the back of Chris Stouffer on acceleration. He'll ease up on the back of Carricker, and then he'll have some sort of a wiggle off of one of these corners. Mustard now ahead by a vote, but he'll have a wiggle off of one of these corners, and it'll really upset the car, and he'll lose all the time he's just gained. Meanwhile, Troy Carricker, and you see glimpses of it, Troy Carricker is pulling in on Kendall Paul as he gets big loose, getting off of turn 4, Matt. These cars not handling nearly as well as they once were. We're 24 laps into the run, and this is as far as these drivers, Matt, have been on tires. Talk to us about what happens when the tires get old, they get hot, they get wore out here at Sonoma.
Oh, God, especially at this racetrack. You remember the old version of this track? So when this track got repaved, I think correct me if I'm wrong, it was 2024 they repaved this racetrack. This old worn out surface went on old tires. It was like driving on ice. Right now here in Sonoma, California, when the temperatures gets really hot, oh, it is like driving on ice. I bet you these drivers are like, oh, we got a spinner in the back. I think I saw it in the background. I can't see who that was.
I'm trying to find it. Don't know. There weren't any changes for position, so I do know that much.
But anyway,
at any rate, Chris Stouffer and Troy Carricker are right together now, Matt.
Yeah, these tires, man. If they get hot, worn out, like I said, it's driving on ice. I know your first thing is like, I need to come to pit road. I'm tired of driving on this thing. That's the first instinct of me, but these drivers can suffer through it. And you're right. Chris Stouffer has now tracked down Troy Carricker.
You know, he has, and I'll kind of elaborate on that. The reason it got like that was that, you know, racetracks in California, it doesn't rain a whole lot. Stouffer down the inside one more time, and he's going to make the pass cleanly on Troy Carricker in the hairpin. So moves Chris Stouffer back into that 7th spot, and he'll set sail after Kendall Paul. He is a little bit quicker than Kendall Paul, so we'll see if Chris Stouffer can bridge that gap. They've been both gaining on Kendall for several laps, and there's Kendall Paul looking back at Chris Stouffer. You can see Kendall out the windshield as we ride inside the helmet of Chris Stouffer. The thing about California tracks, it doesn't rain a whole lot out here. And so you can kind of, obviously you can see that by the landscaping. It's really only green here in the spring. And it doesn't rain a whole lot most of the year. And so as a result, they don't repave stuff very often because they don't need to. And the more you drive on a racetrack, the more wore out it gets. I mean, it's not like the Midwest where there's freeze thaw cycles and the asphalt gets busted up that way. But it most certainly it does get wore out just from the cars driving across it. And by the time this pavement was redone, there was no grip. It was very, very, very worn out. It was very much like old Atlanta, where it was like you would do 3 or 4 laps and it would be like driving on an ice rink. Chris Stouffer, the last time through, Kendall Paul 120, 193. Chris Stouffer 119, 349. So Carricker definitely was slowing him up, and Chris Stouffer is coming. He might have a shot to get back to 6th here.
Yeah, Chris might have a shot at Kendall Paul. I used to run much better lap times than Kendall. Like I said, Chris has still got that red mist in between the helmet, but he settled himself down after that little scuffle he had. I think he's doing quite well, and a nice recovery for him. But there's no, I wouldn't, if I was Chris, I'll be a little bit disappointed, but the comeback, it's still got to make you feel good going to the next race.
It does, and there are all sorts of good things that you can take away from this if you're Chris Stouffer, right? You had trouble, but you were able to come back from it. You kept the car in one piece, and you've proven that you can get back to the field cleanly. That in of itself is going to be a positive as we watch Stouffer continue to chase down Kendall Paul. Stouffer racing for 40 Raceway, Kendall Paul, Outland Custom Arms, Archway Industrial Coatings on his car. Ted Craven has acquired the meatball, and so he is back on the pit lane, and I don't believe he is going to come back out. He'll be credited with a 14th position. Matt Sizzler is no longer able to improve. He has gone to pit lane. He will be credited with 13th. Brian Sharp and Christopher Logan, 11th and 12th, 2 laps down. Lee Campbell is 1 lap down in 10th. Everybody else on the lead lap, the top 9, and we are awaiting to see if Chris Stouffer can get past Kendall Paul. Last time through, Kendall Paul was about a 10th quicker than Chris Stouffer, and they were both about a second. Faster than Troy Carricker, and both of them, get this, Matt, were about 7/10 quicker than Joshua Zorn in front of them. It is possible at that rate for them to catch Joshua Zorn and have a 3-way shootout for 5th in the final lap.
He'll be close. It's probably going to take a mistake by Joshua Zorn.
To the inside, Stouffer Kendall Paul leaves him room out there. Chris Stouffer is down the inside. Wow. Kendall Paul lights up the rear tires. Move Chris Stouffer into the 6th spot. Kendall Paul goes to 7th. So the charge for Stouffer continues. He's back up to 6th. With 3 laps to go, I don't know if he's going to have enough time to get back to Joshua Zorn. He did pick up another 8/10, but at this rate, he would fall about half a second short on Joshua Zorn. There's Zorn, there's Stouffer, but he's got the bit between his teeth. He is coming. The man of the hour, though, is this guy, Greg Evans. Evans, a 6-second lead over Ryan O'Donoghue. O'Donoghue, no slouch. He's 12 seconds clear of Sean Roberts. And so the top 3 very well spread out. But Greg Evans has put on yet another masterclass in driving the AMA Outland Custom Arms Grand National car. He's going to flash underneath Barney. He's got 2 laps to go, Matt, just a little bit under 4 miles to collect yet another checkered flag for Greg Evans. He's already the AMA's winningest driver in this series, and he's going to add 1 more trophy to that collection if he can keep it on the road for about another lap and 3/4.
He's going to need another trophy case.
He ran out of room. He was painting the checkered flags on the side of his race car, and he ran out of room on the door there.
I told Larry, come on, Larry, you need to give a Greg Evans a run for his money.
You know, it would
So
be.
I invited him to come on in here and give these guys a run. He's a very clean racer. He would definitely fit in for this league.
Yes, he would, and of course, you know, Kendall Paul, the admins here at the AMA, always willing to add another good driver. So those guys want to run, they're more than welcome to do it. Greg Evans around the hairpin through turn 12, and he is going to get the white flag this time through 1.9 miles for yet another checkered flag. And I think we're gonna have some fun in the interview room with Greg Evans and Mike Rigney. You're exactly right. Mark Padgett, I wouldn't call it a quiet fourth. By the way, we're going to cut away because Stouffer has caught. I didn't think this would happen. Chris Stouffer has caught Joshua Zorn. And so
wow.
I don't want to break away because this is going to be a battle for position. Troy Carricker has also caught Kendall Paul in the background, but if Stouffer can charge back to fifth, that would cap an amazing.
He's going to let him by.
Yeah.
No.
Well, he's not going to let him by. He's going to give him room. There's no letting him by, but he's going to give him room, race him clean and fair. Joshua Zorn trying to hold off Chris Stouffer. Stouffer had fallen all the way back to 12th, just like Mark.
Oh, no! He's off the track.
He's going to pull it. He's going to pull it back on, and that's going to end that. Now Troy Carricker is all over the back of Kendall Paul. Greg Evans, no challenge. He's going to win the race. But we need to stick with this battle because there are two brewing here in the lake going. Chris Stouffer ran it wide. He's going to be forced to settle for the 6th spot. Can Troy Carricker get around Kendall Paul for 7th and the championship points? He's looking wide at turn 8. Can't quite get it done. He's going to have one more shot getting down to turn 11, but he may have fallen too far back, Matt.
Yeah, there's no chance for Chris, but I am hearing them in chat right now. Them is congratulating all of Greg Evans. He put on a clinic, no doubt. Chris Stouffer is going to cross out in 6th. What a comeback for him. Almost had 5th. Almost.
He did. So Greg Evans is your winner, and here is your Rogue Energy winning moment. If you go to rogueenergy.com, use promo code AMA24, you get 10% off of your order. Greg Evans, Rogue Energy winning moment. Burn him down. He's got a lot of practice at that. That's for
all
sure.
Right.
So
we need a burnout in the
now does he go?
Oh, come on. You got to do it in the drag strip area. What's wrong with you?
Well, he did it up at turn 4. Now he's going to turn 7. So let's see if we can we need to get Mike Rigney into the DVD Motorsport chat and tell him to go to the drag strip and do a burnout. He's kind of making his way back to pit lane for the Rogue Energy winning moment. But that would be cool to see him do a burnout on the drag strip. So we'll stick with Greg Evans and see if he does it while we get the results. It is Greg Evans, your winner, 5.1 seconds over teammate Ryan O'Donohue. It's a DVD Motorsports 1-2. Sean Roberts brings it home 3rd. Mark Padgett nearly locked out the podium for his team. He comes home 4th. Joshua Zorn will be 5th. Chris Stouffer charges back to 6th. He's followed by Kendall Paul. Troy Carricker, John Houchins, and a lapped Lee Campbell make up your top 10. He's coming back around the hairpin, so we'll see. Does he go to the drag strip or not? Christopher Logan is 11th. Brian Sharp 12th. Matt Sisler 13th. Ted Craven, Justin Osterman, Joshua Siegfried, Say Lewis Hayes, David Dunwoody, Matt Metler, and Donald Green. And there he is. Greg Evans is on the drag strip, and he's going to burn him down.
There you go.
How's that for a Rogue Energy winning moment? Burnouts
on the drag strip.
On the drag strip. Matt Metler and Donald Green did not take the green flag, by the way. There he goes. Now he's got to go all the way down the shutdown area up here unless he tows. But there, he's still going. That's fun, Matt. I like fun. I'm a big fan.
A lot of people have been wanting drag racing and iRacing.
Who knows? And there you go. You got Mark Paget involved. Greg Evans continues to celebrate. It's I'm kind of conflicted on drag racing and iRacing. I think about it and I think it'd be a cool idea, and then I think about it and I think, man, so much of drag racing is equipment and setup based, and I don't know. What I do know is we're gonna get Sean Roberts into the booth here just as soon as I can not click on the wrong button. There's Sean Roberts. You've got Murph. You've got a guest commentator and Matty Wagner here in the P1 Broadcasting booth. You got a copy?
I got you loud and clear, Mark and Matt.
I'll tell you what, man. It wasn't without its challenges. You spun early, got yourself put in the back. You managed to come back and run third, and it wasn't an easy third because Joshua Zorn. You had Mark Paget. After you dealt with Joshua Zorn, you had Mark Paget coming, and Paget almost made it close. Talk to us about that last stint. Were the tires going away? Was it a matter of you thought maybe he just saved him better? Talk to us about holding off the pole sitter at the end for the final step on the podium.
Well, definitely the entire goal for that last run was to try to save my tires, even with Zorn breathing down my back bumper. It was that whole how slow can you win a race, type of thing. I was trying to put as little load through the tires as possible. But by the end, even then, my rear tires were barking. I mean, Mark just about ran me down. I made a few mistakes on those last laps, and then we had who was it? Sharp. I think the only reason he didn't get by me is because I stuffed it in front of him to get around Sharp in the hairpin on that last lap.
Good point, Matt. You're the guest commentator today. We always give the color guy a chance to be colorful, and so you get to what do you have for Sean Roberts this evening?
So I've driven both versions of the Sonoma out here. I've driven the old, as you would say, the old worn out track and the paved track. Have you driven both? I was wondering to know how big of a difference it was, and how hard was it on old tires? Were you sliding the right front a lot? Was it really hard to keep it on track?
Well, the first question, I think I only have like one or two races under my belt under the old style, and I think it's only my second race on this one, so I really don't have a lot of information to go off of. In terms of tires, I was really trying to preserve the right front. I was definitely leaning more on the right rear, especially going through the S's, just trying to keep the car rotated.
Yeah, because the more I've driven this car here just to test drive it, here, and it was quite difficult for me. I can not get as fast as lap time as you. I was up in the 121s. Trust me, I suck at road courses. Murph can tell you that too. So
I'm no better. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, I know. I had a hard time keeping it on track here. So once you got off that course, it's just a hell of a job, my man.
This car does take a lot of finesse around here to make time and also not roast the tires.
It does, and you showed plenty of that finesse, Sean. You charge back from an earlier situationship. You make it back up onto the podium. You finally cashed one in. You were really good last week at Coronado.
Don't remind me about Coronado. That same tire bundle bit me on both races.
Didn't get the result you probably deserve there, but you do get a good one here. With the podium come the spoils. Friends, family, sponsors. Shout them out, my man. You got the mic.
Well, just on that last stint, I don't know if you guys carry the hole I went through. I somehow found a hole and just kind of wormed my way through as everyone else is concertinaed up. That's how I got up to third. But I mean, just a big shout out to the league. As much trials and tribulations I've gone through this season, in both here in the Xfinity or O'Reilly and the trucks, it finally feels good to get on a podium. You know, Kendall, all the admins, you guys carrying the stream. I always enjoy watching you guys afterwards. I finally got on a podium this season.
I feel good. Trust me, it feels good. One day I'll get one of these podiums here in the AMA. I'm truly blessed that you're here up here in the booth. Once again, Sean, congratulations, sir, on the P3 here tonight.
Thank you, guys.
Absolutely. Sean, thank you so much for stopping by. Keep going fast and having fun, buddy.
All right. See you next time.
Absolutely. That is Sean Roberts, as is the tradition here at P1. When we have teammates that run 1-2, we bring them both in together. So we've got Ryan O'Donohue and Greg Evans in the P1 broadcasting booth. Welcome, gentlemen. Top two steps to the podium. First question is for Ryan. My man, what did you were you driving this race a little bit differently than normal? Because you seem to have much better long run pace than normal.
Yeah, I think so. Greg and I were just talking. The tires fell off, but they kind of plateaued. Right, you could run them hard. The setup, the traction really went to the ground. Greg was able to make it work a little better than I was on the long haul and just overall pace. But you could kind of work this thing in second gear on the whole track, most of it anyway. You never got to fourth, and you were kind of second through the hairpin there, and it just drove off the corner good. And like I said, every time we go to road courses, I always reference the guys like Greg and Logan and everything I've been learning on these tracks, and it's really coming together. Second 3 times in a row ain't a bad thing, right? So I think at the end of the day, this is great for us, man. Finishing second at Greg is never a bad thing.
It's not. So, Greg, were you ever worried? There were several that took their shots. Christopher about wore you out in the middle third of the race. Were you ever worried about? Were you ever worried that somebody was going to have the measure, or were you just cruising?
Oh no, I was definitely worried. I mean, the first run, Mark Padgett was able to stay with me there for a while, and I felt like I maybe saved a little bit too much tire. And then so the second segment, I picked the pace up a little bit. Not sure what happened to Stouffer, but I know he fell back. I think him and Ryan got to racing. I mean, it was a battle all night long, and then I knew Ryan was just getting better and better all race. I knew it came from I think 7th or 8th, somewhere around there to the second. So I know that he had been figured out some things, and I didn't want to stay too close to him because I didn't want him to continue to learn too much. So I tried to get us a little bit of gap on us, and it felt like, honestly, the more you kind of push the tires, if you went too hard, it would definitely for sure fall off. But it felt like they almost wanted to be pushed a little bit tonight. So able to be a little more aggressive in the third run and keep that pace and keep that distance between me and Ryan.
There you go. I do have to ask, Greg. We've got a bit of a debate going in the broadcast chat, and we've got a poll. We've got a poll up, and I think that Mike Rigney has been stuffing the ballots, and so we need you two to weigh in, Greg and Ryan. What is the best condiment to put on a corn dog? Your choices are mustard, ketchup, relish, or mayonnaise. Go ahead and get your picks in so we can settle this.
I'll let you go first, Ryan.
Oh, I don't know if it's any of those options. How about barbecue sauce?
All right, barbecue sauce is a good choice. Greg, you're up.
I hate to say this, but I was kind of thinking the same thing Ryan was thinking, that and some little bit of mustard, or mustard. I like mustard.
Hey, that's a winner.
So mustard takes it with 58% of the vote. Ketchup 42. Nobody voted for relish and mayonnaise, and Ryan had to write in barbecue sauce. So now that we've got the important questions out of the way, we'll turn you guys over to Matty Wagner. Matt, go ahead.
No, now these are the important questions.
Well, this is not much really of an important question. I know you guys talk a lot during the racing communication. How hard is it to communicate with both of you guys during a road course? I know it's really difficult for me and my concentration. How hard is it to do that and try and save tires? What is the key to save tires here at a road course? This track is so slick for me because I went out and tested, and it was really hard for me to drive this road course. Is it throttle control? Is it more of a try not to put too much steering into it? What's the secret?
I think I can. I think I can
say all
answer the
three?
first question. I think I can answer the first question. If you remember back to Martinsville, we were running 1, 2, 3, and I still had push to talk, and I came off before congratulating the guys, and I biffed that. So
Oh no!
I've ever since then I've been on voice
Quiet talk.
activated, so it's easy to talk now. Yeah, that was a choice.
Yeah, we honestly, I feel like we don't really talk too much. We talk a little bit during practice about what we're doing or what we're seeing or what we're feeling and stuff like that. But during the race, there's really not a lot of communication between us. Like if we see a caution or somebody, being more aggressive or stuff like that, or a slow car we're catching like tonight. I told Ryan, I think it's like 10 laps ago, there was a car over the hill that I almost ran over. So I told Ryan, I said, "Hey man, be careful, come over the hill." But there's really not a lot of communication there.
Yeah, just the important stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, as opposed to me when I moonlight in your chats, and I'm talking just about as fast as I'm driving. I'm sure you guys appreciate that, but I appreciate watching you two run. It's always a pleasure being on the track with you, calling a race that you're in the booth. Ryan, we'll start with you. Friends, family, sponsors, shout them out, my man.
Yeah, congratulations to Greg. It's like I said, it's always great finishing second to him, and bless these guys. These guys brought me on. I'm honored to run for DVD and John Varvarelis, and I hope Charles enjoyed us again watching. And on the car, Master Circle Supply, High Torque New York, Heatwave Visual, 80K Karting, Sim Magic, Sim Shop, AMA, Kendall, all the admins, everybody that does something for this league and put something into it. Feel like a broken record, but it's a good record to be playing. This league's so much fun, man. We get a lot of cool things coming too, and looking forward to the rest of the season with these guys and Archway Industrial Coatings, Outland Custom Arms, Black Magic Studios, Track Racer, Rogue Energy, Admin Box, everybody that helps and supports this league in some way or another, and hi Wags, Mark,
Hey, buddy.
B1 Broadcasting, putting on a show as always. We'll watch this one back and learn something and move forward, and hope everybody enjoyed watching.
You will learn nothing from listening to me, but you will learn something from watching Greg Evans. Greg, you're up.
Yeah, I'm going to switch it up a little bit. I've always been doing my sponsors, but definitely got to thank them. But thank Outland Custom Arms, man. I honestly haven't gave a shout out to those guys all year and just kind of overlooked it. But I need to learn a few things from Ryan myself. So,
wait, Greg,
I mean,
Greg, can I stop you for a second, Greg?
Yeah,
Mark,
go ahead.
I didn't thank Bridget, so let me put that out there.
She's standing by, just so everybody knows, she's standing behind him holding a cast iron skillet.
No, she's away right now. I feel like I was about to get a phone call, so I had to
hit.
Oh.
If you hear a frying pan, she just threw it from about 200 miles away.
If she shows up at work tomorrow with two black eyes, we'll know what happened. Go ahead, Greg.
Oh God.
Oh Lord. But yeah, thank Outland Custom Arms. That we couldn't do without them this year, and Sim Magic, Sim Shop, Sim Labs, Freightliner, of course. Thank you guys for broadcasting. It's always fun to go back and, like I said, always be able to watch these things and kind of see what you do, what you did wrong, what you did right. Try to learn. That's kind of what I do whenever. Before each week, I'll go back and watch the race from last year and see, what happened, what I could have done differently. Try to get a feel for what's going to happen. So, and thank my guys from DVD Motorsports. always keeping John Van Varelis in our minds and thoughts this year. And hope Charles is watching tonight. And congratulations to Ryan on another good run. And got to give a shout out to old Sam Crow. He's on vacation. I feel like he's probably watching. The poor guy is at the beach right now.
He is.
He's at the beach right now. Just poor Sam. So man, miss him tonight, but I know he'll be back next week. So just thank you guys for everything.
No, thank you for putting on a show, Greg. Ryan, keep going fast, having fun. Get out of here and go celebrate.
Thank you, guys.
Appreciate it, guys. Have a good week.
Absolutely. That is
Hey, guys.
Ryan O'Donohue and Greg Evans. And I got to give my shout outs to Greg because that was a winner's interview in 1 minute and about 47 seconds. That's pretty darn good. That's much shorter than it's much shorter than a Matt Wagner interview. I'll give it that.
Hey. You already busted my chops.
With that said, Matt, what are your final thoughts from tonight's event? First time in the booth with me. You get a great show. What have you got for the people to close it out?
What have I got for the people? Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. Me to do the broadcast with Mark, it's pretty much an honor. Mark, it's been my pleasure to come up here and do this for the first time with you. I had a lot of fun, and I'm sure you guys did too. Coming here to Sonoma, very, very tricky course. Requires a lot of practice. These guys who ran up the front all day long probably put that practice in. I know Ryan O'Donohue and Greg practiced, in test sessions on this course. And look what happened. They finished 1-2. Congrats to them. My tip of the cap for the driver of the race who came back. I got to give that tip of the cap is to Mark Padgett. He finished 4th here today. Real nice finish for him. Great job. Great comeback after that spin. After the second segment. Congrats, my friend.
Yeah, there were comeback stories all through the field. Mark Padgett, Sean Roberts, Christopher, all came back, but that was a stirring drive from Padgett to get back to 4th, and he almost put that car on the podium. The breakthrough of the race, though, Sean Roberts, he finally gets his podium. He's been so very close so many times, and he finally gets up there. And if you want to see more action with drivers getting toward a podium, keep it right here on P1. It's kind of light right now, really. A lot of the leagues taking their summer breaks. The next broadcast is going to be Monday night. The IndyCar Open Series Monday night top split will be from the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. That'll be at 8 o'clock Monday night. Immediately following that, you've got the Indy Next Road Series Monday night top split, and that race is also from the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. Tuesday, it is the IndyCar Oval Series top split from Las Vegas. That'll be at 8:15 Eastern, and it'll be followed at 9:30 by the Indy Next Oval Series from New Hampshire. Wednesday, the Formula Indy Series and the Horizon IndyCar Series continue to be off. Horizon will return in late July. Thursday, we are off in the AMA Outland Custom Arms Grand National Series, and I believe we are also off. No, I take it back. There will be a special presentation of the 2026 IndyCar iRacing Series on Wednesday night. That is at 9 o'clock because Saturday is a holiday. Next Thursday, we're right back here for the AMA Outland Custom Arms Grand National Series, July the 2nd from Chicagoland. And we will have a special presentation of the Area 51 IndyCar Series, the Jim Brooks Memorial, Tuesday night from Pocono. Do want to thank everybody who tuned it in. If you haven't already done it, make sure you hit the like button on the video, ring the bell, subscribe to the channel. Want to thank all the drivers on the track for putting on a fabulous show on the road course here at Sonoma. Want to thank all the fans in the stands for keeping us engaged, voting in our silly polls, and in general, making this a fun night to be up behind a microphone. But I really want to thank the people that really make it possible. The military, the police, the firemen, the EMTs driving the ambulance, and Matty Wags, the nurse that unloads you when you get there. From the bottom of our hearts, we thank you all, and we'll see you Monday night. Have a good one, everybody.